It is I. I'm your host with the most. We got Marshall, Mikey sitting on my side here. Gina's not here today. She's out. Fred's out and about with Steph. So there. Fred's not going to be here tonight. Neither is Gina. But we're here.
We're here. We're doing things.
We're here.
We're saying things.
And
I got a new vape. Oh,
and I got to. Come on, computer.
I left mine at work, so I decided I haven't bought anything for myself in months, just given the financial situation we're in.
I get you.
Her not working and everything. So I had
You
a
gotta-
little bit of extra money this pay. I wanted to do something nice for myself.
And I found. Okay, so let me give you all an update on what's going on with me. So this past Wednesday, I went to see the cardiologist, and when we think of blockages, we think of blockages, but in cardiology terms, he explained to me yes, I have a right front branch blockage, but it's not like he said it's not kind of blockage like that we think of. It's more like electronic pulse wise, and that's all jazzed up. It's not great, but it's not like life threatening at this point. It's not like a blockage where like we think a blockage is already completely blocked.
It's not plaque.
Right. It has to do with other stuff. So he's like, right now,
arrhythmia.
It could be because my heart's beating like not right. So
I was going to say because a lot of times they can shock that back into rhythm.
Well, what he's going to do, I have to go on Monday, this coming Monday, to do a stress test, and they're going to do some other type of test to see how bad that is, and then I'll know what the next step is. So I was cleared to do, because I told him I said something I'd like to do a little bit of exercising on for videos. He's like, just don't push it, because we still don't like. So I told him like what I did. He goes like my arm curls, and he says that's okay. Just don't go like running a marathon. I looked in the wind, really, and he laughed. But I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not running no marathon, no. So that was Wednesday. So I got the okay to do that. So I'm like, all right, we're cool. I went to Friday. I went to Marty's Pizza in Nanticoke, and I did not fall this time. I didn't fall this time on my head. Marty's over on East Broad Street in Nanticoke. Food was dynamite. I got these stuffed crabs that were like monsters. And it was a good time. And then my sister's like, my older sister was talking. She's like, you got to change your habits. I said, yeah, I know. I said, it's just really tough for me to do it. She's like, you got to stop drinking soda. I'm like, but I like my soda. So she told me about there's my nephew. He's type 1 diabetic. My nephew and niece are actually type 1. So he's like, my sister's like, he gets a soda from Walmart. He works at Walmart. She goes, and I really like, she goes, it's cream soda by, there it is. It's made by Dr. Pepper. It's a cream cold soda, 0 sugar. She goes, if I buy it for you, will you at least try it? I said, okay, I'll try it. It's not bad. You got to have it ice. I have to have it ice cold though, but it's something I could like get used to. So I'm switched to having the sugar Coca-Cola. I'm drinking these. She got me a case of cream, a case of strawberry, and a case of black raspberry. So I'm like,
soda's literally. I mean, sugared soda is like the worst thing for you.
Oh, I know.
High fructose corn syrup is the worst thing for you.
And but this 0 sugar Dr. Pepper is not bad. I can honestly say it's not bad. We got 9 watching. Thanks, guys, for hanging. Whoever's out there with us, appreciate it. It's
I mean, I use the Soda Stream for everything. Right now I'm drinking Mountain Dew Zero because you can get Pepsi flavors for the you can get like Starry if you ever heard of that. Like I drink a lot of Starry Zero, which is basically like a 7 Up.
I'm gonna look into that Soda Stream thing. When she's like, "Here, I got you cases." I'm like, "All right, okay, I'm gonna drink that first." But so let's do an official live taste test.
The thing I like about the Soda Stream is I use my own water. Like I use spring water,
and that makes a big difference. Because I mean, I like spring water, but it's this zero sugar Dr. Pepper cream soda is not bad. It tastes almost just like regular cream soda, just no sugar.
See, I don't like the aspartame. Aspartame is a really to me. There's like no reason why it should be on the market. But anything sweetened with sucralose, which sucralose is how they sweeten for the Soda Stream. Sucralose, it's like one molecule away from sugar. You could barely tell the difference.
What's up, guys? Hey, J.A., how you doing? Fly Guy, haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for hanging out with us. My one friend drank a 6-pack of beer and a 6. Never said a word about the beer. You know, I can't drink beer anymore.
I drink Mike's Hard. I've been drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade Zero, and it's a nice fuzzy buzz. It's what I like.
So you make your own beer and you don't share. I see.
Yeah.
But no, it's so the other day I got a roasted chicken from, I don't know if it came from Gary's or Price Chopper. I didn't pick it up. My sister dropped it off for me. And for a fix that works for one person. Get that nice big roasted chicken. I cut it down. I made today for lunch. I made and I did not go to get hot dogs today. I did not go out today for lunch. I stayed home. I made a roasted chicken sandwich on toast. Like, there you go.
I made mozzarella sticks.
I wish I had mozzarella sticks, but
well, my liver is suffering for it right now, so
you're paying for it.
So, yeah, it's anything like when you have liver disease, fried foods, affect it horribly.
It's one thing I don't have yet. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I have fatty liver, and we're going to see the end of this month if I actually have cancer. If I have liver cancer, because there's a mass on my liver. Honestly, what I think it is, I think I did some damage to it. I mean, you drink Yukon Jack every day. Eventually, your liver is going to say, you know what, this is getting to be too much. But the liver is the only organ in the body that can regenerate itself, and a hard spot in your liver a lot of times can mean that it's an area of regeneration. In fact, that's the most common cause. And even, if they had to do surgery, again, the liver is the only organ in the body that can regenerate. So if they had to cut out, say like I have a 12 millimeter mass on my liver, they had to cut out, say, to be safe, 20 millimeters around. It would grow back. And then it would be sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, then it would be another hard spot. And the cycle goes forward.
I'm getting I'm getting a text through our through Facebook. From Judy, one of our watchers. She lives up the street from me. the cardiologist, she asked me a question. Who's the cardiologist? His name's Dr. Sitar from Kingston. He's or no, I'm sorry, he's not from his office. He has two offices. One is like right next to the general, and I don't know where his other office is. But I'll be going to Kingston in 44th. I was across from the old beer deli to get these tests done on Monday. So yeah, and when I went to Marty's Pizzeria, they don't have cauliflower pizza. I was gonna try, but they didn't. So I know I know they're gonna hit me on this. They say, well, I did not Friday. I make Friday my that's when I get a pizza. That's my 1 day cheat day for pizza. So I didn't get a meat lovers like I could have. I got a vegetarian style pizza.
I hope you're not confessing to me.
No, I'm not. Not at all.
I was gonna say, because I don't judge, man. I mean, it's your body, it's your life. You do what you want. I mean, if I'd definitely be the pot calling the kettle black, because I'm sitting here with diabetes and liver disease and everything, and I got a cooler full of booze in front of me. So yeah, that's not the best thing for my liver.
What's up, John? How you doing tonight? Thanks for hanging with us. So I'm like, but it had tomatoes.
Hey, John.
It had tomatoes, peppers, onions, mushrooms, and yes, I would like to have the meat with the sauce. But the veggie pizza was pretty good. It was good. Can't say it wasn't bad. Yes, Judy, I will keep you updated and posted. Let's see.
Mr. Marconi, good to see you, sir. Sorry I didn't say hello. I try to say hello. I'm just sitting here with I'm partially fur buried right now because the cats just, I don't know, gravitate towards me.
Also, excuse me. I know I told you guys last year that last year the GS dog, Mr. Jingles, passed away. But yesterday, I gotta find it. She got a new dog. She got a puppy.
Nice.
8 weeks and 2 days old. And it's a Shih Tzu. It's a boy. And if I could get my stupid folder to open, I could show you.
On a similar note, Xavier here. We'll bring him up to the camera. This gigantic boy. His mother passed away today.
Oh.
Gina's sister, about 3 years ago. Gina's sister, there was a cat in her yard that she was feeding, and she named him Walter. Well, it turned out Walter was a pregnant female.
Oh, Walter was not.
Walter had 2 kittens. Walter had Xavier here, and Walter also had Paige. Paige is upstairs, and basically, she took Gina's sister took in Walter, and she kept the name, even though it was later discovered that Walter was not a guy. Walter still remained Walter. Well, anyway, Walter passed away. They found her. I guess she died in her sleep last night. So you can see Xavier's. He likes my hand, actually, as I was going to say. He just looks sad on the camera.
He does.
But now, whenever I have pictures of this. When I try to take my hand away, ow.
So, everyone, I want you to introduce you to that is Ashes.
Agnes?
Ashes.
Ashes.
They named him Ashes.
We all fall down.
Yep.
And Ashes is a dog.
Yep. It's a sheep who 8 weeks and 2 days old. See, this is the GF's new dog, new puppy. I saw him yesterday. He's a little furry, just a little ball of fur. But just look at that face.
Apparently, yeah. I see a nose.
Yep. And she said his first night sleeping in their house was just to be expected, bad. Yep. So that is the GF's new dog, Ashes. So she's all happy again. So like I'm good. So I'm happy for him. But no, so this whole week has been pretty easy at work too. Works. Could be worse.
Well, now I'm deeper into the Medicare priesthood. They have us processing Part B applications. Signing up for for a lot of people refuse Part B initially because you have to normally have to pay a premium for it out of your Social Security check. So I'm dealing with a lot of that now. People who initially refused it and are now looking to sign up for it because they have no better option. So
literally part covers the doctors, if I'm right.
Yeah. I always A and B, like my whole tenure, my whole career, man. I always seem to flip those two back and forth in my head. I mean, D is easy. D's for drugs. C is generally like the Medicare Advantage thing.
Yeah, more an Advantage package premium.
Yeah, that's considered Medicare C now, I believe.
Yeah, Medicare Part C. Well,
and I believe B now is like primary physician, and A is hospital care.
So, and here's with us, I'm with it. It's called the FEP Medicare Prescription Drug Program. Well, a lot of people think it's Part C, and no, it's not. It's different. And what's up there, Mike? How you doing?
Pizza. I'm alive. How are you?
You're still kicking. Sorry. Like I know, that's fine. So last year, everybody's like, I don't want this drug program. I don't want this drug program. Nothing like everybody that wanted off is now like wants to come back on now, like before the end of the year, they want to be back on it. They think they could go on like Part C and still have our program, and it's like, no, you can't have two MCOs. Well, they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay the premiums, which, I mean, I can't blame them. I don't want to pay the premium either. But
I always tell people, it's like, you know what? I get paid either way. I'm not on commission. You do whatever's right for you.
That's they take a penalty. Yeah, you could if you don't sign up for Medicare. I forget. I don't know the whole thing, but yeah, you can get penalized.
Yes, you can. I don't know how it works either. I'm not a field office worker.
Neither am I.
And the thing is that more and more field offices are pushing, and you can't blame them because they're we're as an agency, we're understaffed to begin with. So I mean they push more work our way. It is what it is. I get paid. I'll anything they want to teach me, I'll learn it.
But so I don't know, Flag. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the penalty is. But I still
as far as I know, it's a monthly deduction that they take out of a Social Security check.
Yeah, it's monthly.
it's like 35. It depends on a lot of things. The year you refuse, the year you reach full retirement age. Yeah, there's all kinds of factors that go into it. The penalties I've seen in my tenure usually aren't extreme. They're usually like between say $25 and $35 a month,
We got
that's for like a limited time. That's not forever.
no. We got False in the house today. What's going on there? What's happening?
Hey, what's happening, FP?
I just saw FP earlier this afternoon. So FP, how'd you make out with feeding the gang, feeding the crew? It's I do want to say congratulations to Eric and Megan. Did their wedding today, this afternoon.
Oh God, you know what? Where are my manners? Congratulations to Gina Marie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she became a grandmother this week.
That's right. Last week we thought she was gonna be, we thought she was gonna have them last Saturday, but it ended up being what, Sunday?
Yeah, they had to induce labor. And I mean, like now, Gina's daughter has a daughter, so
She's grandma. And thank you guys. I am at 699 subs. Give me one person to get me to 700.
then you'd be the 700 club.
Yeah, so being the 700 club, I'm one sub away.
One of them's me. I like Ghetto Theater is already subscribed, but I went and subscribed from I didn't realize in my main account, which is just Michael Rogers. I started using it again because Gina's subscription for YouTube ran out, and for as much as I watch YouTube, I'm not going to watch it with ads, so I picked it up.
I hate. Now, years ago, like a while, I always would watch YouTube with the ads, be like, "Oh, these ads stink," blah 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 blah. Then I'm like, it was like back then. It was like when it was like, I know what's like $13 now, or wait, I don't know what it is now. When I first started, it was like $6 or $7. It was like really cheap, and I just you get used to not having the ads, and all of a sudden when I let my subscription, I forgot to pay it, and next thing I know, I'm like watching, all of a sudden I get a commercial. I'm like, what the hell? So I look, I'm like, oh crap, like pay them.
Well, honestly, I'm really glad I did because a lot of like what I do for a living, in the building and everything. A lot of what I do is sorting mail. I was doing that a lot this week. I was when you mail like your W-2, W-3, if you're a business owner, you mail that to Social Security. I'm one of the people who opens the envelopes and I sort through it, make sure it goes to the right scanner and stuff like that. But it's boring and tedious work. They allow us to wear headphones and listen to music or whatever. And I like to listen to podcasts. I'm a big fan of Rogan. I'm a big fan of Tucker. Those guys. They do. Argue as much as you want about who they have as guests or whatever, but they have like they basically what I like is the both of them. They just let people talk, and I like that. Well, anyway, I work in a building that's actually tornado proof. It's a government facility. It's hardened. It's steel reinforced concrete. You're not going to get much of a signal in there. So it's nice. I found that when you have a YouTube subscription, you can download anything you want really quickly into a folder to watch later.
When you're offline.
Yep. So I literally have just hours upon hours of stuff queued up that I can, when I'm on a boring workload where the people around me talking can just drive me insane. because I don't know, a lot of the conversations just I'd rather not hear them. So
Gotcha.
I have these nice wireless noise canceling headphones on, and I can just sit and listen to a podcast and just get immersed in that.
FP was saying he's watching 1923. I have no clue what that is.
Well, that was a year that followed 1922 and came right before 1924.
1924, yeah.
So I'm assuming he's watching like the events of that year.
Let's see. 1920. Oh, with it's starring Harrison Ford. I'm Google searching it. 1923.
It's like the precursor to that one series.
Yeah, 1923 is a Western drama series starring Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, set in the early 20th century, exploring the challenges faced by the Dutton family during a time of significant historical upheaval. 1923 is a prequel to the popular series Yellowstone and serves as a sequel to 1883. Okay.
I'm sorry, I have to interject this, but Helen Mirren, when I was a kid, oh my God, I had a crush on her. When she was young, she was an amazing looking woman.
Who is she? I've never heard of her. Never heard of her. Let's see what she looks like.
She was in 2010, A Space Odyssey. She played the Russian commander. But where I really took notice of her was the movie Excalibur from 1981 or 82. She played Morgana, who was the evil priestess, Arthur's half sister, and mother of Mordred, Arthur's arch enemy.
Okay, I'm looking now. Okay, I know who she is. I just never knew her name. I know who she is. Yeah, okay, I know who you're talking about. I just never knew who she was. Like I never knew her name. But even like she's like 80 years old.
I was gonna say she's old enough to be my mom.
Yeah, July under Wikipedia, born July 26, 1945. No, nothing saying she's dead yet. No.
Well, no, she's apparently doing a series.
You say it. Oh yeah, that's true. For 80 years old, man, she looks damn good. Holy shit. Damn. But yeah, it's nice to see you hanging with the Stare FP. Is it $20? Is it 29? Maybe I don't even know. It just hits my account and takes it out. I forget how much I pay for it.
What, YouTube?
Yeah.
I think it's like $18.99. I'm not going to get hit with a charge until next month.
Pizza, I pay $29 now. I think. I just do it. I do it just because now that once you watch it without the ads, and then you go back to the ads, you don't want the ads anymore. It's like nope.
Well, unfortunately for me, YouTube is most of what I watch.
I've learned. I've gotten the last few months. Like I'd always fall asleep too. Like I'd watch the 11 o'clock news, and Jimmy Kimmel would come on, and whatever would come on after that. I'll catch the weather, and then I go right to YouTube. I turn the TV off, go right to YouTube, and whatever catches my eye. Last night I fell asleep to watching Jeff Dunham comedy specials, and yeah,
well, like I said, I mean, I'm a big fan of podcasts. You know, Rogan, Tucker. If anybody out there, watch the interview with Tucker does with Senator Ted Cruz. It is hilarious. It starts in very nice, very polite. You know, Tucker, I know we agree on about 80% of things, and and then by the time you get to about the halfway through, like you get about an hour into it, it degenerates into this name calling, like these two guys are like legitimately angry with one another, and it degenerates into like literally like like playground name calling. And it's hilarious.
It's like a train
I'm
wreck. You don't want to watch it, but you got to watch it.
Oh no, I don't care. I mean, I'll watch it. Well, I mean, at work I was listening to it and trying my best not to laugh out loud. You know, at one point he calls Ted Cruz this grinning Cheshire cat, and it's like you have this sly grin of a Cheshire cat, and
Oy vey.
and he's throwing the usual stuff that normally liberals would throw out at Tucker, calling him anti-Semitic and racist, and it's like neither one of them are any of that, but the thing is, it's like it just degenerates into this name calling, you know and to see to hear two grown men, one's a senator and one's a journalist, to just sit there, and it takes Frost Nixon and takes it totally somewhere else, and it's hilarious. It's Anyway, that's my taste. That's what I like to watch and listen to.
For a while, I was hooked on that 600-pound life series going on, and
Gina was watching that.
it made me open up my eyes on a lot of stuff too. I was like, oh damn, like shit. I did not know that. Yep. So we got Pete in the house. We got, let's see, he's put a couple things here.
I also love watching. I know I brought it up here before. Series called The Y-Files. The guy with the goldfish. The guy with the talking goldfish. It's like a podcast. It's like more or less take fringe ideas and stuff like Bigfoot or whatever, and then he presents like a whole argument in favor of why this is real and why this is true, and then comes back with like the second part of the thing with, but is it real? And then gives all the reasons why to debunk it, and it's it's a really interesting series. The guy AJ Gentile is a really interesting person, and it's a lot of fun to watch. I don't A lot of times when I'm home, I don't like anything too heavy or too serious. Rogan actually says the same thing. He wants to come home, sit, crack open a beer, and watch YouTube, and what he wants to see, Bigfoot and aliens, and that's kind of where my mind is. Where I don't want anything. I'm a lot of times dealing with life and death with people, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I don't when I come home, I don't want anything too heavy. I don't want anything too serious. And if I want heavy and serious, I'll watch somebody like Satguru or Jay. We're friends on Facebook. If I'm sending out those quotes, with the guy with the big beard, um, that's Satguru, and those are he's a Hindi philosopher, and I love religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, because they have a lot of great things to say.
It's I was gonna say the one thing I loved in school, and I didn't like school a lot, but was like Greek mythology. I loved Greek mythology, learning about the gods and.
Oh yeah, me too. Definitely. I found that when I was about fourth grade, I think. Probably started with Clash of the Titans, to be honest.
Yeah, that's where it started.
And Pete, I'm glad you see in her what I see in her. I mean, Helen Mirren, when back in the '80s, just beautiful. Now I'm a 53-year-old man sitting here making clouds.
I
with a whole lot of cats.
I bet you didn't think that was going to happen, 20 years ago.
I didn't really 20 years ago. I didn't have too much in the way of expectations. I kind of lived then the way I live now.
One day
You
at a time.
know, well, okay. Let's. I actually had a brief conversation with somebody at work who was, I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. My bill's this. My bill's that. And I'm like, you know what? Live for today. There's a reason why it's called the present. It's because it's a gift. The gift is is the present. If you live in the future, if you throw your mind out into the future and live there, that's being tortured by your imagination. And if you're going to go back in the past and go into regret and live in the past, that's being tortured by your memory.
Years ago, I used to do that. I would go like, oh, what if I should have done this, or what if and then as time went on, I'm like, you know what? The past is the past. It happened. You did it for whatever reason.
It's written. It's written. You can't change it.
So that's why now I try to. Oh yeah, and even now I'll admit still, today it's like, I got a thick head and I'm like, but now with reality setting in, I gotta be like, oh shit. I gotta.
The only reason why I look at the past is going over it and examining in my head, what was I supposed to learn from that? There was a lesson there. And what did I miss in that lesson? Because sometimes the past in my life, anyway, will repeat itself. And I'll recognize those patterns and say to myself, okay, there's something here I'm not learning. What should I be learning? But
what sorry. Have you heard about Pete try out Thinker Thunker? Did you ever hear that one? I never heard that.
Can't say I have. Another interesting analogy when it comes to past and future and present moment is the way the Gnostics, who were, a sect of Jews who were contemporary to Christ, and the Gnostic crucifixion is a very different thing. They took the crucifixion to a great degree as being symbolic, and Christ represents consciousness, and Christ is crucified between two thieves, which everybody anybody who's raised Christian knows that. But according to the Gnostics, the thief on the right was the thief of the future, who robbed consciousness of thought and energy by keeping consciousness in the future tense. And the thief to the left was the thief of the past, who robs consciousness of energy by keeping it there. And where was Christ crucified? He was crucified in a place he was crucified on a hill. The hill was called Golgotha, which means hill of the skull, or place of the skull. And they say, is this right here is Golgotha, the hill of the skull, the mind.
Mm.
So yeah, that's, like I said, that's how the Gnostics viewed the crucifixion, or I should say, interpreted the crucifixion. I'm very much about philosophy, and I'm very much about thought. So
let's jump tracks for a moment. Talk about music.
It's the Mike Show with me.
I'm not leaving yet. No, I'm not going yet. No.
Well, no, he said, how about music? Okay.
There we go. Oh, okay, I got it. I'm slow today. No, but when you look at music, and like for when we were growing up in the 80s, the 60s was considered like old music, how do you want to call it? Like
classic.
Now with classic music. Now what I have to, like, when you hear Saturday Night Live at the oldies were playing like 60s, 70s. Now, well, they don't have Live at the oldies anymore because Shadow Steel isn't there anymore. But now it's I have to sit there and laugh to myself because now the classic music is the 80s stuff we grew up with, and I'm like sitting like going, damn, I'm like getting old. I think like the hair band. I think we had the 80s had the best music going.
I guess when you're talking popular music, I don't know. To me, the '80s, there was a lot of departures. The whole advent of synth pop. Um, things like "Don't you want me, baby?" Like
It's like that's like I started listening to like the older stuff like the 70s music, and the 70s music is good too, but I think like compared to now, I think 80s music was was better compared to what we have now.
after the year 2000, we complete. If you notice, society, total music, fashion. Like if you looked back in time and saw somebody wearing hip hugging bell bottoms with a tie dye T-shirt, you'd say, "Oh, that person's from the '60s." If you saw somebody with butterfly collars and you know that's the '70s. '70s had bell bottoms and butterfly collars and corduroy jeans, and that's the '70s. The '80s was the '80s, and
And
I'm not even going to go there. '90s was flannel and all that stuff. But every decade in the last century, every decade had its own look, had its own vibe. Once we hit 2000, it all died. It all became an It all became an amalgamation. People dress now like you cannot. You couldn't look at a TV show made and say we were actually just watching House, Gina and I, over the course of the weekend. Or I should say rewatching it because we've watched it a bunch of times. But if you look at the way people are dressed, you couldn't tell if that show was made in 1975 or 1985 or 1995, and it's made in the early 2000s. People like fashion wise, everything just became an amalgamation of everything else. Same with music. Uh, Music now is to a great degree manufactured. It's not original bands coming up with original ideas anymore. It's just literally like let's put these people together and we'll make a record, or it's somebody recording in their house and becomes famous for it.
I started listening. Well, not start it. I have Android Auto for my car, so I'll let YouTube just do its thing. And I came across Five Finger Death Punch. I knew who they were. I heard of them years ago, but I never really.
I'm not paralyzed, but I them.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like a lot. They're doing a lot of. I'm hearing a lot of. We'll come over to YouTube. It's a lot of covers. Like they covered Bad Company. They covered Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I mean, and they did the songs. I mean, they were decent, but it's like you see, and not even just Five Finger Death Punch. You see, like a lot of bands say are redoing older stuff that came out and that was popular. Like it's like think up new shit instead of taking someone else's music, rewriting it, and then like just killing it.
Well, it's not only music. I mean, it's also like I said, it's just popular culture in general. It's fashion, it's movies. Look at how many reboots there are. There are now like I mean, you look at something like Spider-Man. It's like reboots of reboots.
Right. It's like think up. Now wait, what's his name? He redid Friday the 13th. What's his name?
Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Like he made like, and I watched that version of Halloween or Friday the 13th. He tried to spin it off as like Jason, but he killed the Friday the 13th persona.
I didn't even know he remade it.
Right, but like
I saw the remake of Halloween. I thought it was good.
Now his version of Friday the 13th. Now if he would have called it, a killer in the woods. Oh hell, like he had Jason, like Jason just when he would go after you saw the movie, like he would just like kind of walk kind of like somewhat, but not like fast. He just would walk, and all of a sudden like he just turn around and he's stabbing you in the stomach or something. But like in this Rob Zombie remake, they had him
Excuse me.
running through the woods, chasing people with like a crossbow or something. Like Jason did not do that. Like I said, if he called it something like a killer in the woods or something else, I'd be like, wow, it's pretty good shit. But like they were trying to spin it off as Friday the 13th. I'm like, oh man, come on.
Well, like I said, and there's a theory out there that we're all dead.
Nobody knows how to like make up good shit now, and they're just using old shit. No, I don't.
Well, no, that we all collectively died, the entire world, when they fired up CERN back in like the early 2000s. The Big Hadron Collider that's underneath Switzerland and France. They found the God particle and all that. Actually, I forget who it was. I think it might have been Einstein who said, if you go and find that God particle, it'll be the end of the world. Because that's what they're doing. They're smashing atoms to pieces and then smashing the pieces to pieces and trying to find the smallest particle that's known. And you know what? It goes infinite. It's infinite all the way down. It's infinite, and all the way up. It's infinite. You're not gonna find the particle that makes particles, because that's the way the universe works. It's scalar. It runs on a scale, and consciousness runs the same way. And that goes into dimensions and every other thing. But according to some theories that are out there, cat got a hold of the camera. According to some theories that are out there, when they fired up CERN and they fired up the Hadron Collider, it basically destroyed the world. And what we're living in is a collective. This is like something that we're all manufacturing together, because our collective unconscious, or our collective consciousness, I should say, can't accept that the world ended the way it did, and we all want to live out our lives. So this is a collective vision that we're all having, and that's why there's nothing new. That's why there's no new fashion, there's no new movies. Everything's a reboot and a remake, and there's no new music. Everything's a reboot and a remake, and everybody's doing cover songs, because we can't do, the real world is gone, and all we have are memories.
J.A. just brought up something interesting. The new Conjuring movie is based, it's involving some other Smurl house. Not that they're filming. I don't know if they're filming West Pittston. Maybe I don't know. But what Joe's talking about is, there's that Judy J.A. I can't Joe. That was one of them that lives down the street from me. But it's like we have something every Halloween. It's called Halloween Town. Literally, there's a big over in Antonio's parking lot on Wyoming Ave, corner of Wyoming Ave and Luzerne Ave. It's like a big outdoor party, and with now the Conjuring revolving around the Smurl house here in West Pitts, and that's an interesting thought. I wonder what's going to be. I wonder if it's going to be more this year than last. Last year I left. I went over to the GF's house just because it was just too crazy here. I left. And when I came back around 10 o'clock, it was still, people were still walking around and cops were still blocking off roads. And we become Halloween Town over here in West Pittston. Which, speaking of, it's August, September, October. 2 more months. Wow. Oh, it starts all over again. I'm sorry to hear that, Gina. I just had to double read what Gina put. Migraines getting slightly worse. Oh, yeah, it's not good. But
I'm sorry.
she needs good drugs. But no, but Jay brought up an interesting concept for us people here in West Pittston. Oh, because False lives like literally 2 doors behind me. Jay lives about 5 doors up from me, not even. And yeah. Yes, Molly. But
Hello, Jean-Paul.
how you doing, John Paul? Thanks for checking in with us tonight. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Trying to think, did I go anywhere interesting this week?
I had to buy a new TV this week. I have monitors that I basically use televisions as computer monitors, like for my security cameras. So they run 24/7.
And then they eventually.
Yeah, so I had one blow out on me, and anybody interested, if you want a really good 43-inch television, I believe it's I'd never used the features. I never used the smart features on them, but I believe it's Amazon Fire Stick, if I'm not mistaken. 43-inch television, $100 at Best Buy. It's an Insignia, and quite honestly, I buy a lot of TVs because of what I do with them, and Insignias last the best. I have an Insignia that's running upstairs that I bought, and it's been running continuously 24/7, and it's been running like that now for about about 7 years. Bought it right when Gina and I first hooked up.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's still going. It's the monitor in our bedroom for security cameras. It's 39-inch, and it's still running. Insignias generally, I only ever had one die on me, and I'm still trying to replace it. I had a Toshiba that didn't even. I think it lasted less than 2 years. So, yeah, if you want to buy a TV and you want to buy it cheap and you want to have something that's decent sized, and like it, yeah, 43 is pretty decent size. I got a 75 that I'm looking at right now.
It's he put it instead of artists and studios or pilfered copy. Yeah, like AIs and these AIs are a pain in my ass. Yesterday,
I love ChatGTP.
Yesterday, I must have got 30 calls yesterday, all 570 robo numbers. Hello. With the new Medicare, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't qualify for Medicare. Either get that or I get calls from some insured that, for your final expenses. I'm like, no. Take me off your list, and they still call you.
I never answer my phone.
I have a habit. I do because I'm thinking, what if it's someone looking to book, book a wedding? That's so I've been letting it just go to voicemail, and if they leave a message, they do. If they don't, they don't. Because I'm just sick and tired of answering these damn robocalls.
Well, that's not really AI though. They had that long before AI.
Oh, it seems like just within the last 2-3 months. Well, no, 6 months. I've been getting these damn. They were coming over spam, so I got a spam blocker through Metro, which was I'm like great. And then you start coming through 570 numbers. So I guess whoever companies that are doing this are realizing, hey, we can't get through to the spam number, so let's do local area numbers. They're spoofing. So I called. I got a call. I didn't answer it. So like, I'm gonna try calling back and see what happens. Well, a voice answers. Like, oh, I'm like, no, hi, good morning. I just returning a call from this number. Well, I didn't call you. Um, according to my caller ID, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they spoofed the number.
So I said, and that's what I said. I said, I'm sorry, sir. Your number might have been spoofed, but it's definitely this number that I'm calling back. He goes, these damn people. He goes, yeah, nah, no problem. He was cool about it. He's like, oh, those sons of bitches. I love when I come up on the, like today. I came up on the caller ID. Wegmans, yeah, Wegmans something. It was like not Wegmans exactly, but it was like a grocery store chain calling me. I'm like, how people call? Like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not even gonna answer this one. It's like, or you get the ones like, why would this big company be calling me? It's because they're not. It's spoofed. But yeah, that drives me nuts.
No, actually, AI is going to do away with a lot of that. Not do away with, but I mean, eventually my job is going to be taken over by AI. I know that as a fact. It's going to come down to most jobs are going to be taken away by AI. AI and robotics. I mean, look at Amazon right now. Bezos is retrofitting all the warehouses with robots and electronics. When you take into account that vehicles are going to go driverless, especially delivery vehicles and trucks and like over the road trucking and all that, all gonna. I mean, if you watch what these OTR trucks can do, I mean, I had a few. I've known quite a few guys over the years. That's what they do for a living. They drive over the road. That's getting replaced. These trucks can park and dock on dock up to a warehouse and everything like nothing I've ever seen. I
and
mean, their movements are perfect.
and that's kind of scary because it's a computer controlling it. Like I mean, we grew up watching Knight Rider, with Kit and everything. Oh, that's cool. Kit could drive himself. But like today's world, I'm thinking like, yeah, that'd be cool, but like you get into a taxi, you get into like a driverless taxi or Uber or something, however you want to call it, and something in that computer system malfunctions, you'd be dead. Like you have no control. Like that's I am on. I yeah I I'm still one like if I had a choice over electric car or gas, I'm sticking with gas. Just because there's gas stations that needs going to gas. Like I'm thinking to myself, an electric car. Hey, I don't have a
Jay, you
drive.
froze.
Oh, sorry. Am I back?
Like, yeah, you froze up though.
Oh, said I've been having issues with this down like today. I don't know why.
I could see like every now and again you freeze up, for like a split second, but that one was a longer one.
Yeah, and on my end it didn't. So was it your internet or mine? I don't know. Who knows? But it's like John Paul. How's I don't know if you're talking to us, John Paul, but day's going pretty good. Can't complain. But get back to this like driverless cars. Like if something, God forbid, one of those over the road rigs that are computerized malfunctions and it wipes out a town. Like a square or something, or somebody
That
gets.
happens. Stuff like that happens now with trucks, like with guys just driving. Like I mean, you got a lot of times. I mean, you got guys behind the wheel of a truck that haven't slept in 24 hours. They have a delivery that has to be delivered within a certain time frame. They're skipping sleep. They're driving in bad weather. They're driving, whatever. And
it's still going to happen. There's still going to be accidents, but I'd rather see someone behind the wheel who's in control could try to, possibly not let it happen. Said like, I watched a YouTube video where a guy, I forget what this was a while, got into a driverless car and took him like, to wherever he had to go. But it's like, comes up to the stop sign, stops, all GPS and ran. I don't know how they do it, but part of it was cool because I was like, wow, this is like kid. But I'm like, what if that malfunction, you couldn't get out of the car, like those Teslas when they first came out. I don't know if they fixed the problem now, but there was a guy who died who literally like burned to death because they couldn't get the doors open. Like, I guess on the Tesla time, like the door handle would pop out of the door. Well, when this thing shut off, he couldn't get out of the door, and they couldn't get him out in time, and unfortunately the guy died. But it's like,
no,
like,
I've heard this ever since I was little, and the idea was it's when power windows first came out, and you didn't have the ability to crank a window. Well, if that car hits water, like you go flying off a pier or something, and you're submerged and you're underwater and the car is filling up. Power windows aren't going to do you any good.
True.
So what they would always tell you is keep something in your glove box, a sharp instrument like an ice pick or even a screwdriver, something that you can use to break that window.
My luck, strong enough to break the window. That'd be my luck. I'd be like, shit, and can't do it. That'd be my luck.
If you have a pointy object and you any level, even a child, I would say, if you thrust that pointy object or screwdriver or whatever into the center of a side window,
it'll pop.
The safety glass would just crumble.
It's but just how, like, because I know how my luck is, I'd probably be like trying to like break the damn thing, and it probably wouldn't. Probably be like, Jesus Christ, that's just how my luck goes. Everybody else would probably do it no problem, but I'd be the one that couldn't get the damn thing open.
Well, I always carry like a tactical bag because given my limitations with spinal stenosis, getting full-fledged pants on and off, can be a problem for me. So a lot of times I just wear pajamas, shorts, or whatever. And to carry everything around, I have like a tactical bag around my shoulder. And there's always something sharp in there. There's always a gun in there too, unless I'm at work.
Right. Best case, grab the gun, just shoot the window.
Yeah. Yeah, and even if a gun's not going to fire underwater. My chances are it wouldn't, and if it did, the bullet would be severely impeded by the water. Your best bet there. It's still a nice heavy object. You could bring down the barrel of the gun on the window and then break it. It's actually one thing I'd love to, gift for myself, kind of thing, like the vape. Really, really love to have a 357 revolver. It's something I've wanted since I was a kid. And it's actually one gun I don't own.
It's one thing. I never got into guns and buying guns or collecting guns. It's never happened for some reason. Now my one buddy collects guns like all the time. Like here and there, you go to these big, convention type joints, and if they have like
gun shows.
Yeah, gun show. I couldn't think of the word. Suspect that they might have a.
Never been to one, but I know what they are. I don't collect them. I literally have 3 9mm semi-autos. I have the 38 special snub nose. That's my usual carry gun. It's very light. It's powerful enough, and it's very concealable. 9 times out of 10, you'd never even know that I was carrying a gun unless you knew me and knew that I always carried. The last gun I have, I would never carry, and that's an AK-47. And I always say that's my shit hits the fan gun.
Literally.
Yeah, if the Chinese army is marching down Main Street, and I want to pick off targets, or some flash mob is breaking all my windows and running into my house on the ground floor here, and I want a gun that can fire a round from an AK, the 7.62 jacketed, could probably pass through three people before stopping in a fourth. So yeah, if you want to fire into a crowd that's trying to mob you and kill you, that's a good gun to have. Also, the noise, it's very loud. So, when the primer's struck on a 7.62 cartridge, it creates quite the sonic boom, and that's a lot of times enough to scare people.
We got 222 Susie Q hanging with us from Instagram. Well, thanks for hanging with us. Appreciate it.
Hola, bueno, ¿qué pasó?
Oh, Susie Q. CCR. I'm sure they do now. Like this was back when they first started coming out. They couldn't get the doors open or didn't know how to do it. Now, like I had a K5, and it did that. But if the power went out, you just on the inside it was set up with the inside door handle. If the power ever shut off, you just pull on a toy and it would trip the door. But yeah, my forte is just normal door, normal locks. Hey, Molly.
My cousin owns a Tesla. They're beautiful cars.
I actually tried one of those trucks. Those new,
I saw the guy who has it. There's one guy around here who owns one. I like it.
I saw. I mean, I didn't look at the inside, but I saw I was actually pulling up. I was coming through. I was on Wyoming Ave, and I actually come up against one. And let me tell you, I'll stick with the old good trucks. I don't know if these new trucks would even be able to make it. I don't know. They just look like they're. I don't even know. They're like
very futuristic.
Yeah, that's a good word to put it. But I'm looking. I'm like, I would not buy one of these. And I love new cars and shit, but this is just something I'm like, these new trucks. Like, oh God, no.
Well, I'll tell you what. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there's just one around here right now, the Tesla truck. And the guy who owns it, I saw him. He was pulling onto. I was at the yield sign at exit 3. I'm getting onto the Cross Valley. I was going to work, so it was around 9 o'clock. And this guy was getting on. I was actually yielding to him, and he was turning left off of River Street to get onto the Cross Valley, and he had a Tesla truck. Pretty girl in the passenger seat. Guy was grinning ear to ear. The vanity plate on the front said First Lieutenant. So I'm assuming this is a guy who went to West Point or something, because I mean enlisted guys can only go up to I think it's Master Sergeant. So you actually have to go to military school like West Point or something, and you generally graduate as a First Lieutenant. So this guy was living his best life, and I just grinning ear to ear, and it's I was just so happy for him. As oh my God, that's cool. I'm glad to see somebody living their best life like that.
I mean, and I agree with you. You could do if you put yourself through whatever you had to do, and you came out on top, and you could buy, whatever you want to buy, whether it's, Maserati, a Tesla car, truck. But man, the cars don't look bad. Just the trucks, man, the design of the trucks look horrendous. I'm like, oh, they.
People hate them. Like, remember the Pontiac Aztec? People hated them too. Like, there was even a website called aztecsarugly.com.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I always thought they were neat little cars. I liked them.
I used to work, when I worked for Wyoming Valley Motors, they were a Pontiac dealer at one point. So I would drive, like, if we had a couple of, I'd take one out just if I had to go somewhere, I'd take an X. I thought it was neat looking. But at that time, it had like it has like the camping package where, but it wasn't 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. I'm like, why would you make a car and not give it at least 4-wheel drive?
I agree with that. I didn't know it was. I actually just kind of assumed it was 4-wheel drive.
Now in time after in time they did, they made them like all wheel, I think. But in the original beginning, they were front wheel. Or they were two. I don't know if it's front wheel, if they were rear wheel, but like it was cool because I saw this camping package thing and it looked really neat. I'm like, oh, Pontiac Aztec, that's pretty cool looking, But yeah, 2-wheel drive when they first came out.
It was front wheel. I'd be able to live with it. I don't know if I'd be able to live with that kind of car being rear wheel drive.
But yeah,
front wheel can pretty much get you out of anything. At least around here.
Yeah, I see. I see people like, and hey, I used to have an SUV. They killed on gas though. They're like gas suckers. But like around this area, as long as you have good tires, front wheel drive, good tires, you're pretty much gonna get where you're going.
Yeah.
I know a friend of mine at work, like she swears by the SUVs, and I'm like, she's like, I don't want to get stuck. I'm like, yeah, you if as long as you have good front tire, you're not gonna get stuck. Not around here anyway. Now, if you go out to God knows where, Bumbletown, yeah, you might get stuck.
I'll tell you what, I lived in Mountaintop for many, many, many years, and traveling back and forth to work on 309, 9 times out of 10, if I saw a car on the side of the road in distress, on its side or on its roof or whatever, like in a snowstorm,
Right.
it was always an SUV, always, without exception. It was some kind of 4-wheel drive vehicle. And the reason for that is people think that, if I drop it into 4, I'm immune. I could drive like it's a normal road, and 4-wheel drive is just gonna, magically, keep me on the road, and they'll be driving 75 miles an hour through a snowstorm, on a hill, and think that, I have 4-wheel drive, I'm immune.
Yeah, no.
And they're not.
Poof.
4-wheel drive, if you're coming down a hill, 4-wheel drive can't save you. 4-wheel drive, in fact, having dual drivetrains like that is going to make your car really awkward coming down a hill that's coated in ice. Your vehicle is going to spin a lot.
I remember my dad saying years ago, he goes, you could have 10-wheel drive. You hit ice, I ain't gonna do nothing for you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, 4-wheel drive does not guarantee immunity in the snowstorm. Like I said, living in Mountaintop, most of the cars I would see were idiots who thought that 4-wheel drive gave them immunity to snow, and it doesn't.
Now, 4-wheel drive was fun when you used to go out in the summertime, going through the flats. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
Did that many a times.
I had a Bronco, and at the time I was a subcontractor, and I had a lot of rural installations to do with satellite systems, and yeah, there were plenty of snow covered dirt roads that 4-wheel drive got me through. But I mean, and it was the old style. Like I had to get out of the vehicle, lock the hubs.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I didn't like, I had a tracker that was 4-wheel drive, and that thing was amazing. Literally, like I especially 4 low, where you could, like, it had its own separate gear shift, like the switch between 4 high and 4 low, self-locking hubs. All I had to do was push a button and drop it into either 4 high or 4 low, and that thing was great. I rarely used it.
Like, yeah, with my buddy when I worked at Burger King, he had a Bronco. He had a Bronco too, like one of the smaller ones.
Yeah, that's what I had.
And like, yeah, like to get out before we ever went, we used to go 4-wheel all the time. He's like, wait, I got my friend, I gotta go out, gotta lock in the hubs, and it's like,
Yeah, I had exactly the same vehicle. In fact, mine on a lift kit. Had ginormous tires on it.
my two Blazers that I had were you didn't have to worry about lock. You just popped it in a 4-wheel and they were good to go. Pete, I got a story to tell you. I got a story to tell you about a DeLorean in a minute. But it's
I'll be right back.
Okay. It's the Jay show because Mike, he's gone for a moment. I don't know. Yeah. But no. Yeah, I meant the Cyber truck. That thing was just ugly looking. I mean, the inside might be nice, but man, it was I just thought it was ugly looking. And not even because it just looked ugly. But Pete, it's when I was growing up, I have two older sisters, and my dad made a deal with all of us when it was time we got our license and stuff. He would help us get our first car. Now the deal was we had to be able to pay for half the insurance, gas, and if something broke, we'd have to at least be able to pay half of the bill. My dad would cover the rest. Back then, my dad he worked in the car business. He made really good money back for the 80s. Well, I was coming up on 16, and this is before my dad got the Camaro. But he's like, or no, was it after he sold the Camaro? I can't remember. It's probably after he sold. I can't remember. Anyway, he's talking. He's like, well, what? You're gonna be turning 16, getting your permit. Needless to say, it took me till I got 17 to pass the damn test. But he goes, what kind of car do you want? I'm like, I'd love to have a DeLorean. And maybe because it was Back to the Future, I don't know. Because up the road, Wyoming Valley Motors used to be Goodwin Motors, which had at one point had DeLorean. They sold DeLorean. And so he's like, I'm like, I want a DeLorean. That'd be so cool. I have a DeLorean, blah, 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 blah. But back then he's like, well, think about it. If it's a European car, okay. Or I don't know. But he's like, if it breaks down, it could be sitting for a while because you have to wait for parts and you could be sitting. So that kind of deterred me from getting a DeLorean. But needless to say, back then, and I didn't know this, but DeLorean parts were, I guess, interchangeable with Volvo parts. So technically, if you need, kind of like how the Lexus and the Toyota are, they're came from the same place basically. So yeah, but I almost had a DeLorean. So my first car to be a 1980 AMC 2-door Spirit hatchback. Yeah. But I know my dad meant well, and I know he did, but it just killed me to lose that Camaro. Oh, Ife. But I understand where he's come from now that I'm older. Okay, the Land Toyota. That was a Toyota, wasn't it, Pete? Land Cruiser. Oh, but I do got something to tell you guys. Yesterday, August 1st, for all you local guys anyway, August 1st, Tammy's Kitchen's grand opening was over in Luzerne at the old Chuck. So it's official. It's now Tammy's is in Luzerne. I'm actually going to go there tomorrow and get breakfast. And yeah, I saw pictures and it looked like she did a very good job. It's the Mike show because now he's back. Da, 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 da. It's I was just telling if you heard. I was just telling buddy Tammy's kitchen.
Oh yeah, I keep my headphones on. They're muted, so you can't hear me, like using the bathroom.
Taking a whiz. Yeah, in the bathroom. Um, no, but yeah, Tammy's opened up. Grand opening was yesterday. She posted pictures that looked like she got hand up. Ta-da! Ta-da! Looks like she got a good opening. A lot of people. So yeah, so I wish her luck. I don't know if she watches the show or catches on a repeat, but yeah, I think she's gonna do good. Tomorrow I'm going to check it out. I'm not gonna do a live thing yet, but I'm definitely gonna go check it out, the new place.
I heard you talking about cars. You're really lucky you didn't get that DeLorean. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's.
I heard all kinds of stories from the Back to the Future set of how that car just would not run.
Well, when I started working at Wyoming Valley Motors, and I'm talking to the sales guys and said, "Oh yeah, I almost got," and they're like, even the one sales guy, he's not alive anymore. He passed away. His name was JR. They called him JR. And hi, Lucia, how you doing? Yeah, Joey, I'm not sure what time I'm going there, but I'm definitely going there tomorrow. I was telling him how, like, I said, yeah, I almost got a DeLorean. He looked at me, he's like, good thing you didn't. So he started telling, and now he used to sell them brand new, and he told me that they always kept the DeLorean in back as a parts car. So if something like
Yeah.
because he's like he told me a story. He remembered how he went to deliver this brand. Now remember, they didn't have windows, at least not that I remember anyway. Like windows that actually like went down and opened up in the beginning anyway. I don't know if it changed or not. But he went to deliver a brand new DeLorean, and the lock, you know how they have like the door, like the door jammed and he could not get the door open. So he had to drive back to the dealership so the mechanics could literally break the door. I don't know how they got, but
how did he drive back to the dealership if he couldn't get in the car?
No, he was in the car going to deliver the car. He couldn't get out. It wouldn't.
Okay.
Open. So he had to drive back to the dealership so he could get out of the car and fix the door. He said they were. They had
the gull wings.
Yeah,
but like a Lamborghini.
He was like, Joey, what time?
That's where they got the idea for. Was from like the Lamborghinis of the time. Because Lamborghinis, I was always impressed with that as a kid. That like a Lamborghini has the gull wing doors.
Oh yeah, then they. Joac Cabbage is in the house. What's up, Joe? Joe's an old buddy of mine back. He went to school with us.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, it's Mike Rogers as an old man.
It's what was I gonna say? That's my train of thought.
DeLoreans.
Talk about Lamborghini. At the time, someone traded one for a Porsche, and yeah, but it didn't have the golden. It actually just had the normal open, like normal door. They
didn't all. It was like certain models had it.
Right, and it's this one. I'm like looking like, what the hell? I was like, ooh, Lamborghini. So years ago, I used to go down with the used car manager. You go down to Mannheim Auto Auction, and we'd go for the Highline sale on Thursdays. And you want to see some hot looking old like the Lamborghini from Cannonball Run, like that year, the Countach, with the gold. That's like, yeah, this is neat, And when they're sitting out in the lot, you could dealers would go and open the door, look to see if they got something. So I'm like, I'm gonna open the door. I'm like, I'm sitting in the Lamborghini going, damn, and she is doing ice cream now. Is she gonna be doing it every night? I don't know. or was that just for a grand opening thing, or just a summer thing? Who knows? But I'll find out. No, I think she closed at 9. I think. I don't know. I'll get the scoop. I'll talk to Tammy. I'll get the scoop. But yeah, it's cool because you're walking around like you'd see. Um, I saw cars from like 1980 Chevettes to like at the time Lambos, and Mannheim. I loved going to Mannheim. Walked, sat in cars, looked at cars that like you wouldn't believe. But their cafeteria, I mean, I loved going for the food because their cafeteria was ran by little old ladies, like the Amish little old ladies that like could like really cook, and that was the best part of going to Mannheim was their food.
So I was never a big car person. Like everybody I knew, like back in school and everything, all the guys I hung out with, all the jean jacket guys that I hung out with, they were all into cars. So they could tell you anything about a Chevy Nova or whatever.
I got well, my dad was a salesman, so I
yeah
around it. But then after I worked for Wyoming Valley Motors for like probably good, oh crap, at least 10 years. And by that time, I saw the Porsches, I saw the Audis, and someone's like, oh, a Porsche. I'd be like, yeah, okay. What do you mean, okay? I said, I see them every day. It's like, the first time I had to move one when I was working on the car, I'm like, oh my God, I'm driving a Porsche. Or when I would go to Mannheim, my boss would say, well, take what car you want. I take the Porsche, just park it in your driveway. That's all I ask. Okay. He's like, you have a driveway, right? Yeah, park it in your driveway. Not a problem. But for the most part, like they'd be like, oh my God, he's driving a Porsche. I'd be like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Joey, what time you going? Oh, after 9. Oh, after 9 in the morning. Duh. I was thinking something ice cream. Yeah. It went, but okay, yeah. I'm gonna try and get there at least before 11. I'm gonna try anyway. But yeah, look for me. Say hi.
All I was gonna say was like when all the other jean jackets in school, when everybody was talking about cars, I really didn't have much to talk about, and because my whole thing was guitars. I mean, I can tell you the way these gearhead guys could rip apart a car and put it back together or whatever. I could do that. I could do that now with a guitar. I can tear the thing down to a husk, and I mean, I have a guitar behind me that started off as a body, like a guitar body that I found in a box at Music Go Round that they charged me $30 for. And it was from like I don't know, like I think it was from about '89, like 1989. And I totally from parts on eBay I rebuilt the thing into almost actually better than what it was in '89.
Nice.
And that's something I do. That's something I used to do anyway before my hands started going wonky on me. But that's my version of being a gearhead. Is I didn't have an air wrench. I had a soldering gun.
And back then, when you hear stories like girls and like back in the day, you heard like girls in cars, be like yeah, right. There was a girl who I graduated, I think a year before me. I haven't seen her lately, but I used to bounce into her pretty much when I still worked in the car. But her first name was Janine. But she could like literally tear down an engine and put it back better than most guys. Like this, yeah, and it was like it was funny because she'd be like, people be like, oh, and she'd be like, around, well, this, and people look at her like, oh shit, you know what you're talking about? She's like, yeah, like she learned from her parents, her brothers, and yeah, I'd always laugh when someone would try and like say, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about, huh? This, and this, and they're like, oh shit, you do.
Basically, like Marissa Tomei and my cousin Vinny.
Yeah. Well, Pete, if you do, like I said, it won't be before 10 o'clock when I get there. I'm gonna shoot for 10. Depending on what time I fall asleep tonight, because I really want to check out the new place. And
Pete, from what I understand, there are very few DeLoreans left running. There's like the ones that are. There's like a club of guys out there that are hardcore devotees to them. They'll actually sit and like they have one guy who actually manufacture replacement parts. Because of course you can't get parts for them anymore.
There's a DeLorean running around on my side of the river. Like, I think it's still running. Now I'm going back years. Remember when there was those things called video stores, movie places? He worked there and he had one. And was it Blockbuster? It had to be Blockbuster. And back when me and my ex-wife were still together, I remember we were going to rent a movie, and I see this DeLorean. I'm like, wow, cool, it's a DeLorean. And my ex-wife looked at me like, yeah, it's a car. But it's a DeLorean, and so I go in and I'm looking, and the guy said, oh, you like that? He goes, oh, it's mine. My dad got it for blah, 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 blah. And so this was around like.
Probably the one you didn't get.
Probably. Probably. But it was, it was a nice shape. And he's like, oh, yeah, I had it for a while. I don't drive it all the time because at that point, it's probably becoming like classic or something, or whatever you want to call it, because it looked pretty cherry at the time. I haven't seen one driving around lately, but this guy, he was a young guy too. He was like maybe at that point, I was maybe 27, maybe he was like 21.
Honestly, they're all going to look pretty good at this point because from what I remember, I mean those bodies, all the body panels were aluminum,
stainless. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was aluminum, like because they're not going to rust.
Maybe I know. I thought it was stainless. I could be wrong, but I thought it was stainless steel. Well, let's see what.
See, that's what I thought. Like the whole the color was all about because I guess it's like harder to paint aluminum or whatever, but they chose aluminum because it was lightweight and
We got from Instagram. We got again 222 Susie Q looks like still here. Miltic and love my Kit Kat joint. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Let's see. What does Bing say? The body. What was the
well, not the body, but the panels.
The
maybe the body was stainless. I'm talking like the quarter panels, door panels.
Let's see. Okay, it says here the body of a DeLorean car is primarily made of stainless steel panels and fiberglass, featuring a distinctive gull wing design. The stainless steel panels were used in the catering industry, and the car was known for its unique aesthetic and performance capabilities. So it looks like it was stainless steel panels. Can't hear you, Mike.
Can't hear me because it was muted. Loki was on top of an amp, and I didn't want him to be there, so I didn't want everybody hearing me yelling at a cat. I was yelling down. So,
all I can see is like your face, and you're like going, like,
I was yelling, down, now, down. So, but I was louder.
Now, from what I don't know how true it is. Someone's trying to bring back the DeLorean.
That I did not hear.
Let's see. I don't remember what I don't know.
That was a car stereo going by the way, if you heard that.
No, I didn't hear that.
It was loud.
Okay. It's called. I just typed up. Are they kind of
Well, they're rebooting everything else, right?
Yeah, it's
probably even They'll probably even have a Back to the Future model with its own flux capacitor in the back.
Sister, yes, the DeLorean concept car is being remade. The new DeLorean Alpha 5 concept features the iconic gull-wing doors and is designed by Ital Design, the same firm that handled the original DeLorean. The Alpha 5 is a modernized version of a 4-seat model that was planned for the 80s but never realized before DeLorean went out of business. It is set to debut at the Pebble Beach Concourse in August 23 with the release concept in 24 now. Don't know if it ever did or if it didn't.
Sounds expensive.
Oh, it looks expensive. Just from pictures here. Yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks pretty cool. But yeah. Future meets legacy inside the 2025 DeLorean Alpha 5. And it looks almost like Back to the Future. They have things on the back end, looks like from the Back to the Future. Yeah, I see. That's gonna be, if it does come out, it's gonna be not cheap.
Now to give our audience here an idea of how much Mikey is into cars. I drive a 2014 Chevy Spark. I paid used. I couldn't as a used car. I buy all my cars from Valley Chevrolet, and I have for over 20 years. As a used vehicle, it had less than 14,000 miles. It had, like, the odometer was at 13,000 and some change, and I paid $8,888 for it. They gave me $1,500 trade on my Impala. So I wound up with a car payment that was under $300 a month at the time. And to me, that was a good, affordable vehicle. Really, I mean, to this day, great on gas. I've owned it now about 8 years, 7 or 8 years I've owned it. It's a very simple design. It has no frills. Like, the radio's AM, FM. It's not satellite radio or anything. It doesn't even have power locks on the doors. I have to physically use my key to put it into the door and turn it to open it. And I'm sorry, I like that. It's like the only power lock that's on the thing is for the trunk, for the hatchback. So that you have the convenience of unlocking it from the driver's side.
So what's called a Chevy Spark?
Yep.
What year?
2014. They haven't changed much. Like, they did swap the model around a bit in, I think, 2016, but they look virtually identical. It is the smallest car.
I'm looking at the pictures, man. That's a tiny looking sucker.
It is. It is very small, but believe it or not, I have enough leg room in there.
I was going to ask,
I have more headroom in there than I've had in a lot of vehicles at home. The ceiling in that car is actually pretty high.
Well, that's like when Volkswagen redid and brought back the Beetle. Looking at the outside, I'm looking at it going, wow, this is pretty small. But when you got into it, you had a lot of room in that Beetle. I was like, holy crap.
The Beetle was an excellent design. I don't know why they did away with it.
Yeah,
probably because of anything else, just lack of sales. But that arch, that's actually for strength. Like, if that car goes up on its roof, it is not going to collapse.
No, not at all.
Yeah, because I mean, the way it's arched like that is literally built to keep it from crushing in if it's ever on its roof. It's built for strength. Actually, it was the car that Adolf Hitler promised the German people, and that's why it's called Volkswagen, because Volkswagen means the people's car.
Did not know that, or if I did, I don't remember.
He promised that everybody in Germany would have one of those by the time the war was ended.
I remember years ago when they're bringing back the Beetle. We had a big they had a big car show up at the dealership. Like basically like bring your Beatles. Like we had we featured the brand new one at the time, whatever year that was, and then everybody brought to showcase their Beatles, and it was like a Beatles car reunion or something. The way they were rolling it, I'm looking
You
up.
make it sound like a Beatles reunion.
Yeah, and I remember going because I worked that day. I remember looking, going, I didn't realize there was that many Beatles still around. Going, holy shit!
The Beatles.
Oh, it's I didn't read that far to see it was electric. Oh God.
Oh,
And
the new DeLorean's electric yet?
in the yeah, God, I didn't read that far to find
See,
out.
I would have thought it ran on the flux capacitor, and it had like Mr. Fusion in the back where you can dump
Just
beer cans and banana peels into it, and
banana peel. Let's go back to 1842. I did see that. I did see. Well, it was a replica, most likely. Years ago, it was. I got married in 2002. So it's 2003. Me and the ex-wife were down in Tennessee. And there was a museum called Cars of the Stars. So I'm like, we gotta go, and she's like, yeah, okay. So like we go in. It was cool because like you saw, they had the DeLorean. It was roped off. You couldn't even touch. Like it was roped off. You couldn't even touch it. But
they had more than one. Yeah, you have to understand though. It's like Kit. They had more, and the General Lee. I mean, they had a bunch of those on set.
it was so I don't know if it was an on-set car, a replica, but it was in this museum, and you could see like Mr. Fusion. I'm like, through there they had the original Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit. The original year, I don't know, but the original from the first one. They had the General Lee. But what was cool was they didn't have Kit. They didn't have Kit. But they had what was cool, they had from that old show with Andy Griffith show. Don Knotts' patrol car. They had that. I was like, well, that's cool. It's not a big site, but it's cool seeing. Then they had the Fred Flintstone mobile.
So I remember hearing like with the General Lee, like they kept like 6. What were they? Roadrunners or Challengers? Chargers. Thank you. They had 6 Chargers on set all the time. And every time they did a jump, they wrecked they wrecked the frame. The frame was done.
It was the General Lee was originally 69 Charger.
Okay, but that sounds right to me.
After so long, I think they were using like 70s because they were running out of, like, they could not find 69 Dodge Chargers anymore. They were just gone.
Yeah, like I said, literally. I mean, and you can see it every time that car jumped.
You just saw the whole thing just poof.
Yeah, as soon as they hit the ground, I mean, its frame is just done. And, you can't. You're that car's never going to be right again.
No. And even like Kit, like how many Trans Ams did they use? There was the 82 body style Trans Am. Then they actually, as the seasons went on, it became like, they were using like an 83 and 84 because it was just
you're abusing the hell out of them.
And I was watching on YouTube. Now this was a while ago. Like out near like California, there was looked like a junkyard, but like there had at least be 100 General Lees. But they were all banged up, beaten. They went through hell. It was funny though because I saw it now. I remember the whole concept of the story. It was a YouTuber. It was someone on YouTube put it on YouTube. And nobody. It wasn't like a star. It was just just a normal guy. They bought a farm or somewhere out in the farm area, and it had like a barn, and they go out to the barn. And the guy's like, never been out in the barn yet. First time opening the barn. Blah 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 blah. Here there was a car under a tarp. Here was a General Lee. Like he inherited one when he bought this place. I mean, it was just. I mean, I don't know if it needed one hell of a restoration, but it's just cool. Just you open up your garage, your barn door, your garage door, and all of a sudden, like, hey, I got a General Lee. Yeah, Pete, they were safe cars.
Yeah, and all I got when I bought this place were a couple of vacuum cleaners. Yeah.
Is yours? Wait, Pete's asking if it's an EV. If yours is an EV.
No. If it were from California, it'd be mandated to be EV. But no, mine runs on gas. It's got a little 4-cylinder, I think a 1.3 liter, and yeah, it's. But as far as gas goes, I pump $9.99 worth of gas into that thing every week. That's all it uses.
Are you like on E or quarter or?
I'm usually right around a quarter of a tank when I put gas in it.
My forte, if I'm on a quarter of a tank, like $25 will fill it. Like we'll like overfill it.
Oh, $10 doesn't fill mine. It'll take it up. It'll take it up maybe like a little over 3/4 of a tank.
Yeah, I'll fill mine on a quarter. But I see I only put gas in my car maybe once every 2 weeks, if that. Sometimes only once a month because.
Yeah, but you work from home. I have to drive to work and back and forth to work every day.
Everybody like laughs at me, like, or they'll be like, "Oh, you're full of crap." No, if I spend like $80 on gas a month, that's pushing it. And they're like,
when I work from home.
But I'm like, I work from home, so I go down to Garrity's or over to GF's house. Once in a while, I'll go far to do a wedding. Like, I only have 7,000 miles on my car, and it's almost 2 years. Like,
it's like I said, I bought mine 7 years ago. Had almost 14,000 miles on it. Present day, I think I just turned 38,000 miles 7 years later. So yeah, I put very little mileage on a car.
Yeah, I mean, and when I was talking to my insurance company, they're like, well, how many miles do you drive? I don't know. They're like, well, I said, well, I sometimes go to the store once a week. I'll go to the girlfriend's house every so often, and the only time I really drive far is if I have to do a wedding out a little bit. Then she's like, "You work from home, don't you?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." So that saved me a good, nice on my insurance. I don't drive a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you go and look up my name on the court docket website, and if you know anything about anything, you know that Luzerne County courthouse system is free to look up. There's a page where you can. I'm not going to direct anybody to it, but if you know, then you know. You can look up my name, Michael Rogers. I'm one of 3 who's ever really lived in the valley, and I'm 50. I'm going to be 53, so my age is easy enough to guess. I'm not going to give you my birthday. Oh, if you look that up, you're not going to find any records on me at all. I haven't had so much as a traffic ticket. The last time I had a traffic ticket was in 1999.
I had one traffic ticket in my life, and me and the ex-wife had an argument. I was just really pissed off. So I'm like, I had to go to work to Arby's, and I'm going to work, and I'm flying down, the Ave, not paying attention to my speedometer. Next thing I know, I see lights. I'm like, gosh, yeah. So one time in my life, I got a speeding ticket. And the cop looks, he's like, "Do you know how fast you're going?" I'm like, "Enough to get pulled over." I said, "Honestly, sir, no, I don't. License, registration. Why are we driving so fast?" Honestly, he goes, "Yeah." Well, me and the wife got into a fight, and I was just mad. And I was driving fast. I had a Pontiac Sunfire at the time. And he's like, "Well, you're being honest." I'm like, "Yeah, what happened?" Then he saw my thing. He's like, "Oh, you work at Arby's. Which one?" "Oh, Kingston." "Oh, okay." Well, and he gave me a ticket. But the judge was nice. Like, he brought it to where I could have had like points on my license, but he brought it down to like to where there was no points. But I still had, I still had to pay the fine, of course,
Well,
But yeah,
back in '99, when I got pulled over twice in 2 successive weeks. It was same place, spot on Route 309. I lived in Laurel Run at the time, and I worked in Mountaintop, which is why I eventually moved to Mountaintop. But same cop, same speed trap. I was late for work both times. And I said to him, like, as he's like, he's like, do you know why I stopped you? And I'm like, is this about the tag on the mattress? I swear to God, when I cut the thing off, I swear to God, I didn't think anybody saw me. And he got a kick out of that. And the second time he pulled me over, he's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes, but I got a good reason. He's like, you're late for work again. I'm like, yes, I am. We had a laugh about it, and he basically what he did, so because my license would have gotten suspended. Actually, he wrote it up as like disobeying like a stop sign, like as if you were disobeying a sign. Being the sign I disobeyed was a speed limit sign, but I was doing 95 and a 45.
oh, geez. But yeah,
But that was the last ticket I ever had. I haven't had a ticket now in well over 25 years.
Yeah, I haven't.
And my car insurance is like, I think I pay like $150 every quarter.
Oh Jesus!
So that's do the math. That's like six. My car insurance is literally $600 a year.
Oh damn it! It's I remember when I used to work over at the dealership. They usually do it Monday mornings. If you go up, Route 11, you're going over to the Narrows. It's like 35. Then it drops to like 25.
25, yeah.
Then it goes back up to 35. When like so far past, so people be flying, and you'd see the car there. You'd see the guy would usually park. Well, it's three guys pizza now, but he would sit in that park. It was a big excursion. He would sit there and you'd see cop like 3 or 4 cop cars off on the right. You just see a line of cars, like they were just boom, move up, pull over. They were like nailing everybody. And I'm like, you dumb asshole. Like, but again, you're Monday morning. You're not paid. You're going to work. You're not thinking. Next thing you know, you're rolling through it. You're rolling through a speed trap, and it's like, well, not like
I'll tell you.
They couldn't hit you with the gun on. I don't know if that law changed anymore, but
I'm seeing a similar situation up on Route 115 because I take there's that whole construction thing that's happening on the Cross Valley right around Exit 1.
Yeah.
I have to go that way to work. It's like the most efficient way for me to go to work every day. So I have to manage the construction, and then I come out the other side of the Scranton exit on 115 heading up the mountain. I don't really go up the mountain. I turn off at East Mountain Boulevard. Because like where Geisinger is and everything.
Right.
But without fail, man, like 2 or 3 days a week, every week for the past few weeks, on the downside, I see a state trooper having a tractor trailer pulled over. Tractor trailers are not allowed on that part of 115. Anything over 10 tons.
Did not know that.
Yeah, it's because you can lose your brakes coming down there really easy. And it's happened before. Remember the runaway truck roads?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they're there. Because it happened one time. Truck literally made it into downtown Wilkes-Barre. You know where the sign is, or the guy on Cunningham Ave, corner of Cunningham Ave and Kidder Street in East End, the guy that used to always have like a billboard on the side of his house.
Yeah.
Like he rented out the side of his house to billboards and stuff.
Top Dog had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you and I were born, A truck came down off of 115, made it all the way through, all the way down Kidder Street, and hit that house. And that's why those runaway truck roads are there. That's why you can't have a vehicle more than 10 tons, up or down. The thing is, what drivers don't pay attention, like a lot of the, because like I said, I know guys who drive truck. And what a lot of drivers don't pay attention to, they're just going by their that's why like for a while there, you were seeing accidents on the Giant, like tractor trailers coming down the Giant's to spare. They're not supposed to do that.
Is that how the Jeep suspended them?
The Giant, you'll definitely lose your brakes.
Oh yeah.
I lost my brakes on the Giant once. I should say I didn't lose them. I smoked them. But yeah, I mean that's why those things exist, because those are steep roads. You got you're pulling a heavy load or whatever, and you got to hit your brakes quite a bit. Don't burn up. Air brakes are not. They're going to burn up.
The next thing you know, I was always wondered because when I was coming back from my buddy's house in Thornhurst, I see you see the runaway the truck, the runaway side ramps there. I was wondering if anybody actually had to use that, like coming down.
Not to my knowledge. But that's why they exist, because that house in East End, literally off of Kidder Street, off of Kidder and Cunningham, that house got hit and knocked off its foundation by a tractor trailer that came down there and lost its brakes. Actually made it that far down. I think it was at night. Right
across the street from McCarthy Flowers, I think, isn't it?
Exactly. Yep.
I know exactly the house you're talking about.
That's what I remember my mother telling me when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, it's like, to me, number one, the runaway truck road looked like fun. And I wanted my mom to drive up there. And she said, no, it's not for that. Well, if it's not for fun, then what's it? Well, that's, if a truck driver loses control of his truck, he can drive it off and, not cause an accident or, hurt somebody or whatever. It's like, okay, well, did that ever happen before? Yes, there's a reason why those roads are there, and this is what happened.
It was funny, that house that had when they had the Top Dog sign on the side of his house. I remember saying, "You just passed Top Dog." I remember house clear as a bell. I wonder how much he got for that. Like
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, man. I mean, if somebody were willing to pay me to put a billboard on the front of my house, I'd absolutely do it. I would absolutely do it.
It's like, I always wondered how much that house made for putting a billboard on the side of their house, painting a billboard on the side of their house. I'd be like, damn.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I would go, as a property owner, I would go with that in a heartbeat.
That is brilliant.
I mean, for one thing, you'll never see it. Like if you're sitting on your front porch or something, it's not something that's going to be visually disturbing to you or whatever. And it's got to be a moneymaker. I mean, the guy was probably pulling down back then, probably pulling down like $500 a month, which probably paid his mortgage for him or something.
Back then, that would have been a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, right now, today, $500 is chicken shit money, but
I would take $500 a month to put a sign on my house.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking $500 today compared to $500 back in the '80s. Your 500 went a lot more back in the 80s than it would today.
Well, the best example I could think of is if you go back to the 60s, like a brand new Les Paul, say, was like around $300 with a case. And maybe like $350. I think it was like the case was like $99 and the guitar was $250. So together, today you can't buy a Gibson guitar without a case. They won't sell it to you without one. So back then, if you bought, you bought the guitar with the optional case, $350. That same guitar today, a Les Paul with a case, is $3,500.
Shit.
I cut a couple of deals on mine, and also I bought mine before the prices went up in 23. So I got my standard for $2,000, and I got my classic on sale for, which is basically almost identical to the standard. Um, the classic I paid on sale is like a President's Day sale or something, just under 1,600. Those guitars today, if I bought them brand new, like I said, 3,500 for the standard. The classic they discontinued, and if I were going to buy something similar, it would be around a little over 3,000, probably about $3,200.
Damn.
So I could literally go and I could actually sell these guitars used for what I paid, like what I paid for them. Because the used market, Gibson's always hold their value. So the used market just went right up with it.
You know, we were talking about like back in the 80s. I remember I'm gonna play a clip really quick. It's brand new cars back then were like $8,000.
Yeah.
$9,000. It's like you buy an $8,000 car today, you're like, it's high mileage. What's wrong with it? Not saying you can get a decent car, but it's like, $8,000. You're like, really, it's going to be, used.
Oh, I did all right for $8,000 on mine.
So to give everybody just a little demonstration of what it was like back in the day, might not be watching, might not know. Did I share that? Yeah, I think I did. I'm going to mute my mic for a moment. Let me know if you can hear this. I think I did the audio.
Boy, do I live in a tough neighborhood? Nobody asks you what time it is. They just take your watch. Sheesh. At Howard Isaacs, though, they get all the respect.
It's your dad. It's your
Howard
dad.
Isaacs is featuring a year-end clearance sale. Over 50 84 Chryslers and Plymouths to choose from. Executive demonstrators, including Fifth Avenues and front-wheel drive New Yorkers. Lasers and the Magic Wagon, the all-new Plymouth Voyager. Plus 40 cars and family sedans. Just a few more reasons why Howard Isaacs Chrysler Plymouth gets all the respect. Hey, as soon as I got married, I knew I was in trouble. My in-laws sent me thank you notes. Sheesh. At Howard Isaacs, though, they get all the respect. For 48 years, Howard Isaacs has been your full-service dealership with a full line of Chrysler and Plymouth cars and GMC trucks. The largest Chrysler Plymouth dealership in northeastern Pennsylvania with a complete parts department, factory-trained mechanics, leasing, and daily rentals. Just a few more reasons why Howard Isaacs Chrysler Plymouth gets all the respect. Hey, the other night I had a fight with my dog. My wife said the dog was right. Sheesh. At Howard Isaacs, though, they get all the respect. Howard Isaacs is featuring a year-end clearance sale. Over 50 84 Chryslers and Plymouths to choose from. Executive demonstrators, including Fifth Avenues and front-wheel drive New Yorkers. Lasers and the Magic Wagon, the all-new Plymouth Voyager. Plus 40 cars and family sedans. Just a few more reasons why Howard Isaacs Chrysler Plymouth gets all the respect. Hey, last month they took $3 off my phone bill. They said 10 of my calls made no sense at all. Sheesh. At Howard Isaacs, though, they get all the respect. For 48 years, Howard Isaacs has been dealership with a full line of Chrysler and Plymouth cars and GMC trucks. The largest Chrysler Plymouth dealership in northeastern Pennsylvania with a complete parts department, factory-trained mechanics, leasing, and daily rentals. Just a few more reasons why Howard Isaacs Chrysler Plymouth gets all the respect.
That was your dad.
That was my dad. And if anybody wants to finish watching that, there is the link. But yeah, back then, like, I was trying to see if it would show. I know there's some in there that actually show like the prices they're doing. It was like $8,000 or $8,700. And that's going back in the 80s for a brand new car. It's but yeah, if anybody wants to finish watching, just click that link there. I have in the chat.
My mother owned a maroon '65 Mustang. She bought it brand new from Hartzell's car dealership down in Plymouth. She paid $5,500 for it in 1966, I think, 65 or 66 but it was a brand new car. And she drove that thing for 10 years. That was the car of my toddlerhood. And then she got a Maverick, which
I remember those.
even as a little boy, I knew that was depressing. Well, yeah, my mom actually had a 65 Mustang, and it cost her like $5,500, brand new.
I remember my cousin, her and her husband. I forget what year it was. It was a Mustang. I forget, but it was a convertible, and the roof leaked like all the time. Every time it rained, man, that roof leaked. Because I remember he took me and my sister out. Him and my cousin, her husband, which is my cousin too by marriage, and they're still together. But they come down and take us like out for pizza or something. Back, I don't know if you remember back on North Main Street. I forget what's there now, but it was Papa's Pizza. Do you remember that?
Sounds familiar. What near downtown?
It was it was on North Main Street going, if you're going to go into the square, maybe it's right around where Burrito Loco is now, maybe one or two
okay
around, but in that general, I can't remember the exact spot, but it was in that general area.
On that side of the street or the opposite?
If you're going the same side as Burrito Loco.
Okay. The place I was thinking of was on the opposite side of the street.
But now actually they have it's the same people. Now it's called Pizza by Papa's or Pizza by Papa's. It's up in Scranton.
Okay.
It's the same people. But I remember going, like, would pick me and my sister, we'd go down and get pizza or something. And when it rained, this damn roof leaked like a sieve. And he could not wait to get rid of that car.
Well, the fate of my mother's Mustang was the rear blew out, and they convinced her at the car dealership that it would be better to trade it in. The engine's too powerful for the rear. The drive shaft's just going to blow it out anyway. No matter what we do, this is going to keep happening. It's like I told my mother as like a teenager, I'm like, that's bullshit. They wanted, that was a 10-year-old classic Mustang. They wanted that. They either wanted it for parts or they were going to restore it and sell it at a huge markup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was like one of the first year Mustangs. That's why they wanted it. They would tell you anything to get that car off you, especially as a trade.
It's like, well, when I went to Performance Kia, they wanted to buy my they wanted to treat me out of my Forte because again, it only has like 7,000 miles on it, and they're like, well, we can put you in. We're going to try to get into this K4. It's an upgraded. The Fortes are no longer being sold. This is the last year, 24, and we can't get whether people want to buy them. I go, well, let's see. Let's talk numbers. Blah 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 blah. Well, because I only had the car not even 2 years, I'm upside down in the loan. I'm like, so they're like, well, we'll put you into a used car. No, they call it, I'm sorry, pre-owned vehicle. Like, you have a very nice Kia Sorento, or I don't know, the Kia SUV, after what it's called, and it had 31,000 miles on it. And this guy's like, well, 31,000. It was more highway miles, and I'm like, I get it, I understand. But I'm like, you want me to trade my 24 that has 7,000 miles to I think it was a 20 or 20. It was like 20 or 21. It has 31,000 miles. I'm like, no. And he tried to talk me into trading my car. Like, well, we would give you this great deal, and I'm like, my car only has 7,000 miles. Why would I? If you're going to put me into the K4, then we'll talk. That I can afford. But
See, I would be like my whole thing would just be like, okay, number one, you're trying to convince me to trade down.
and that's what I
Number
said. I said,
two,
"Oh, I'm going backwards." I said, I don't want to go backwards. I want to go
number
forwards.
number two, if this is the way you do business, I'm probably not going to buy another car from you.
Now, when I got my Forte, I had a K5, and I had it like 2 years, 2.5 years, and it was just at that point with my eye, I couldn't. It was a bigger car. I couldn't. My right eye was still giving me issues, and I wanted my Elantra back that got hit and it got damaged. But I'm like, well, okay, I could trade out of my K5, and they flipped me out of the K5, got me into the Forte. Great job, no, perfect. But I'm like, you want me to go from a 24 Forte with 7,000 to a 20 with 31? I'm like, just something. And I said, no disrespect to you, because I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, but to me, that just like that doesn't seem right. I'm going backwards with higher mileage instead of forward with fewer miles. So but this guy, and he was a new salesman. He just got into the sales. He's like maybe 6 months. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, you're a newbie, aren't you? And he goes, how could you tell? I said, oh, yeah, I used to sell cars too. I know the wording, the tricks, the whole. I'm like, I'll tell you what, I said, go back to your. And I kept asking him, like, okay, so what do you get? What are you allowing me for my? Because he'd come out with the sheet. We can get you that. No. Like, what are you allowing me for a trade-in? Oh, I don't. I think, well, I want to know that. So every time he come out, I forgot to ask him. So I'm like, I was just so curious, like, what were you going to offer as a trade allowance? Because they could put my car on that lot for 15.9 any day of the week and get it with 7,000 miles, easy, 16,000 easy. So I'm like, and I kept saying, well, what? No, he keep coming back. I got this. No, too high. I told you I have to be under 3. Like, I told him I had to be like, no, I told him I had to be, under $400 a month. Well, he gave me, then he's like, well, let me show you this pre-owned SUV. Yeah. So I took.
I was just my whole thing is I'm not one for being polite when somebody's trying to dupe me. I was just like, dude, you're offering a car that's less valuable than what I'm driving.
Well, that's what I basically said. I'm like, my Forte has 7,000 miles, and you want me to trade it up for a SUV that's older with 31,000? Oh, but we can give you this extended warranty. I mean, he was trying. I'm like,
I mean, I would just be like, dude, you should be paying me to take the car from you.
I said to him, I said, I forget his name. I said, so like that. I understand you're trying to get a sale. I said, I've sold cars in the past. I've worked in car dealerships. I said, I understand what you're trying to do, and I respect that. But I'm like, if you can't get me into that K4, well, I said, tell you what I said. Go back to your general manager, ask them what they're going to allow me for the trade. I said, and ask him. So I'm rambling off, owner loyalty, like dealership discounts. And it was the last Saturday of the month, so I'm like, you guys can make this happen. Now again, with my car, my payoff was high, so I understood that. So I'm like, ask him that, so he could come back. I can't. I said, well, what was my trade allowance? Oh, I forgot to ask him. Okay. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna keep my car. I'm not gonna go backwards. Oh, but I could see the mileage is bothering you. I said, yeah, because mine had 7,000, says like whatever it was. I'm like, no, I'll just keep my Forte. We're good. So maybe in a year or two, maybe if we'll see. But right now, I'm just gonna keep my Forte. And yeah, he really wanted that car though. But I'm like, I had to sit there and laugh at the guy. I'm like, you're new at this, aren't you? How long have you been selling cars? About 6 months. Yeah, I could tell. And it was just funny. He was trying to
hustle you.
Well, yeah, and that's what when I was selling cars. But when I was selling cars, internet wasn't really up and out yet. It was still newspaper, walk by. Internet wasn't really big yet when I sold cars, and so yeah, and I'm like, I remember the same. This is a great deal we're giving you, like the whole, and I get it. I've been there. I'm like, guys, I've been there. I've done it. I've done it before.
So that's one thing. I'm sorry, but that's one thing I appreciate about Valley Chevy. When I go to that lot, number one, they know me. Like I said, I've been doing business with them now for well over 25 years. They know I'm a no nonsense customer. It's like, look, what can I get my legs into, and what can I afford? And trade, they're always good. No matter what, they will always give me at least $1,000 on a trade. No matter how much I've beaten that vehicle into the ground, they'll always give me $1,000 on a trade. Last vehicle, they were going to originally give me $500 because my Impala needed about $3,500 worth of work on its steering. That's why I was giving it up. And they opted like, oh no, wait, it's Mikey. We're giving 1,500. Like instead of 500, I was going to get like the extra 1,000. No matter what, they will always give me 1,000 on a trade. I can count on that with Valley Chevy.
I'm going to assume Kenny Wallace is probably dead by now.
I would assume.
I wonder who's.
I know I think the Wallace family still runs it though.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Gina's her married name. Gina's last name is Wallace.
Oh yeah,
I always laugh because it's a common name, but she always gets really good treatment. I'm always thinking like they're probably convinced she's a family member. But yeah, I mean like I said, I mean they always. I go to the lot. There's no pressure. There's no I never experienced anything like that with them. It's not like buy this car, buy that car. It's like, look, man, I'm damn near 7 feet tall. I got to be able to get my legs into this thing. I got to be able to drive it comfortably every day.
Before I got my Elantra, I had an 04 Impala. I bought off my sister's in-law. It was an 04. It was sitting in my sister's driveway because it was my brother-in-law's aunt's car. Well, she went into the nursing home. No need to drive it in, so it just sat in her backyard. So I'm like, let me if you want to sell it, I'll buy it off her because I need a car now. And and the only reason why I traded up for the Elantra was because the body, the back end, like when it would rain, you just see the water just go like right through, like the whole ass end rotted out. The quarter panels were rotten. The tranny and the engine were like still perfect. Just it was the damn body. So I remember and my heater kind of broke. It would shut off. My heater would be like, what the hell? So my heater wasn't working. I roll into Early's used cars, and I bought the Elantra. The Elantra, I love the Elantra. But my 04, so I remember first thing I get in the studio, I'm like, where's the CD player? And he's laughing. He's like, there is none. I'm like, well, how do you play your CDs? Oh, it's a disc. You put the little card in there, the USB, the little whatever the hell you call them.
Yeah.
And it Bluetooths to your phone. Oh, cool. I'm like, you forget I have an 04 Impala with an AM/FM CD player. Okay, I burn music on discs to play in the car. But yeah, but other than that Impala ran like a beast. Just couldn't pass inspection. So I'm like, do I take the money and get the body work done? And it was over 100,000 miles. I'm like, do I get the body work done?
Body work is so damn expensive anymore.
Right. So I'm like, do I just take what I would have? I had $1,000. And I'm like, just put it on a trade up, and that's what I ended up doing. But yeah, it's like, but I missed that old Impala because that thing was a beast. Like in the wintertime, I didn't worry about nothing. I just made sure I had good tires, good front tires. I'd go to Jessup to work.
Was it the front wheel drive Impala?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had. I think mine was I think if I remember right, mine was an 07.
And it had, I had, the keyless entry. I was like, oh, this is cool. I got keyless entry, because I never had a car with keyless entry. Oh, I got a car with keyless entry. This is awesome. Then when I got the Hyundai, he showed me, Bluetooth, the phone Bluetooth to the car, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess, Well, my sister calls me, and so it rang through the car. I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, holy shit! I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And now it's like, I have a backup camera that's size like this. I'm like, ooh, how did I live without this backup camera? But yeah, technology's come a long way from back. I said you saw it. They were selling.
I had a backup camera. There was this one when I first moved here. Anytime I needed a truck, and here's a piece of advice to anybody out there: if you need you did damage to your car or whatever, you have it in the shop, it's getting fixed. Don't go to a car rental place. Go to U-Haul. Go to U-Haul and rent a pickup. It's a lot cheaper, and you're getting a better vehicle.
Thought of
But
that.
I what's that?
Never thought of that.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime I need a truck. I mean, you're talking to a guy. I used to be a contractor. I used to be a subcontractor. I know how to drive big vehicles. And anytime I would need a truck, okay, there's certain things I need to haul or whatever. I just go to U-Haul, and there's this one GM truck that they have that I absolutely pick up that I absolutely love, and I'll ask for it the same. Most times it's available. Whenever I need it, I'll ask for that GM pickup, and I always get it. I love that thing, and it has a backup camera on it, and it's neat. Like I'm very used to backing up using mirrors and everything.
And kind of doing one of these numbers, looking over your shoulder, and
I never did that. Like you get once you drive a big vehicle long enough, and you get it in your head, like the length of that vehicle and how much backup room you have. Once you get it into your head, like, okay, I got 9 feet back here or whatever. You just become accustomed to it, and then you can just drive with mirrors. As long as you know what's on either side of you, you're okay. But having the backup camera is better than not. It was it was neat. It was the first time I had a vehicle like that, and the last time too. But yeah, when I moved in here, I moved my entire place using that pickup. Um, anything I bought for this place, I like the couch I'm sitting on now and the TV that's on screensaver in front of me. Hauled it all in that pickup. So yeah, and I think I paid like $150 to rent it. So yeah, I mean that was for days. That wasn't just for an afternoon.
right.
So you always tend to make out better than going to Enterprise Rent a Car or whoever. You tend to make out better, and U-Haul is just they're better people to deal with.
Speaking of Enterprise, that's when I got hit in the Elantra. Their insurance covered my rental. Well, I got covered and they filed whatever they filed for, but so because it was a accident, like if you go to Enterprise, they want this bill to make sure this and that, but because it was an accident and I got the okay through my insurance, they I said I still had to pay money down to rent the damn thing. And they gave me a Nissan 4x4, a Nissan pickup. Which was it a Nissan? Yeah, I think it was a Nissan. And it was nice. It was a nice truck, but I'm driving. I'm like, it's pulling to the right. So I call back. I'm like, hey, just to let you know, this thing's pulling to the right. You need the alignment fixed. Oh yeah, it keeps coming in and out before you can get it fixed. We'll thank you. I'm like, just letting you know so you don't think I didn't try and charge me for anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like then when I brought the truck back. After they finally fixed my Elantra, I'm like, okay, I want my reimbursement because you got so much back, and you took my money quick enough, but giving it back, it took 3 or 4 days. I'm like, really? It goes quicker than it comes back to you.
Like I said, piece of advice: if you ever fall into that situation, just go to U-Haul and rent a pickup.
Yeah, I like pickups. I can do pickups. It's but yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. For as much as I love my little car, and the fact that my car could probably fit in the bed of that pickup truck, that GM truck. I think it's a GMC Sierra, if I'm not mistaken.
If it's a GMC, it's a Sierra.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I think my car can actually fit in that truck bed. But anyway, if I were gonna buy another vehicle, if I had the money to do it, I would actually buy a GMC. I love those things. They're beautiful trucks. They really are. In fact, if you all wanted to ever sell that GMC, they have two of them, and it's like they're the one is like it's okay, but the other one just speaks to me. Like we're just.
Says Mike,
I'm
come
in,
here.
Yeah, I'm just we're in tune with each other. I'm very, very comfortable driving that thing. It just reminds me of the one we had a pickup at Commonwealth Telephone that I used to drive, and it kind of reminds me of that pickup. You know, I drove all kinds of fleet vehicles like that, vans, pickups, bucket trucks, you name it. And that one, I don't know, like that pickup, that Sierra, man, that thing really speaks to me. I really, really like that. I never even owned a pickup in my life.
I had a Blazer. I had a GMC. Well, it was the GMC version of the Blazer. The GMC Jimmy. I've never had an actual pickup, though. I never owned a pickup truck.
No, me either. My old man, he was in fact, when he died, he owned two of them. I never had one. It's not that I'm opposed to them. It's not that I don't like them. I just never had. I had one opportunity to buy one when I bought my the Chevy. Oh God, we were just talking about it too. Impala. I actually went to Valley Chevrolet to buy a black. I forget what Chevy pickup it was. Like I was going to say an S10, but they stopped making those forever ago. It was like a mid-size pickup, and they advertised it as an automatic transmission. And as soon as I went to look at it, I peeped through the window, and it's a standard. And it's like, nah, I don't want that. And they're like up and down trying to like, okay, the ad was wrong. We'll give you $500 off of it. I'm like, no, it's not that. It's just I don't want to drive a standard every day. I know how to drive a standard. I just think they're clunky. I don't like them. If it was my father talking, he would be like, well, why should you go, the speed that the GM plant thinks you should go? It's like, no, it's like, to me, that's like saying, you know what? Screw it. I don't want windshield wipers. I want to get out of the car every time something gets on the windshield and wipe it off with a rag, like they did in the good old 1930s. I'd rather an automatic. I don't want to sit and think about popping the clutch and every other.
Well, my brother. Well, I had two brothers. My brother-in-law, when he was dating my sister, he had a Ford Ranger pickup, and it was a stick, which was cool. Now, like, his truck now is an automatic, so my sister can drive it. And but my nephew just turned 16, and he saved up his money, and he bought a Toyota Tacoma pickup. It's an older one. It's a 5-speed, big tires on it. And I'm like, damn, it's a nice looking truck. But I'm like, remember, he's like, can you drive a stick? I said, I can drive a stick. I said, the one thing you want to watch about is getting stuck on a hill.
Yeah.
Those are, because when I learned how to drive a stick, I was working for Early, and they're like, you have to take the transmission over to somewhere. Okay. It's already in the pickup. Take it and go. I'm like, this truck's a stick. I can't drive a stick. Oh, you'll learn quick. What if I blow the clutch? Well, we'll replace it. Oh, so really my first time driving a stick was like, I knew the basic concept, but I never had it. So like, and I made it, I made it back with no issues. But it's funny, the guy's like, well, if you blow, we'll just put in the clutch in it. Oh, okay. But yeah,
When
I
I was a when I was a teenager, my father was actually teaching me, like, he would have me like sitting on the passenger side. He would actually, like, he would do the clutch, and I would work
yeah,
I'd work the gears.
right.
Um, but I actually like learned on a school bus, and
Oh,
nobody ever bothered to tell me, like, after I learned how to shift gears and everything on a school bus, that a diesel is a completely different shift pattern than a
right.
standard gas. Yeah, diesel. The for whatever reason, a diesel transmission a transmission on a diesel vehicle is different than on a gas vehicle. It's a whole different shift pattern, and
Didn't-
it's like nobody ever explained that to me. It's like, you know what? I prefer, and I stick with automatics.
Yeah, me too. Back in the day, yeah, sticks were fun but now, yeah, no, forget it.
I never owned a standard.
The
I wouldn't want to.
closest thing I have is with my car. It has the Tiptronic, so you can kind of slap it over to like drive it almost kind of like a stick. But
Back in way back when, like the '60s and the early '70s, they actually, I forget who made it. It might have been Mopar, but certain vehicles back then actually had, you could switch it back and forth. You could either, you know put it in like the one, like, mode, and it would shift itself like an automatic, or you could pull it, you could shut off automatic and work a clutch and shift the gears yourself. It was like a hybrid of the two things.
it's
I would consider something like that. I know as a fact, though, I'd never end up running the stick. I would just keep it in automatic anyway.
listen, I've never, like I said, I have Tiptronic where it's kind of like driving a car without a clutch, stick without a clutch. But I never use it. I just keep it in drive. I'm like, you know what? Too lazy. Just put it in automatic and go. That's
I
how
just
I.
realized my phone's not taking a charge from this cable.
That's not good.
At least it's not keeping up with it. It's like after 2 hours of this, it should have been dead by now. It's more or less like it's keeping a charge going, but
But
not.
not charging it out, like not putting a charge on it.
Yeah, it's
Pete, Pete has a
hard to
question
explain.
for you. Is the diesel different because of the torque curve? Is that why the ratios are different?
These are good questions that I don't know the answers to. I'm not a gearhead. I'm not a car guy. I just know that, when I went to, I literally learned on a diesel engine, literally on a school bus. Because I knew a guy who was a school bus driver, and he's like, "I'll teach you how to drive a stick." And like I said, the guy neglected to tell me that the diesel stick is way different than what I would find in a pickup truck or a van or something. So yeah, I don't know why that is. You know what? Your reasoning could be very sound and very good. I honestly don't know.
It was funny when I was learning how to drive a stick. Um, remember back in the day when people ran with the CBs in their cars?
Okay, ran with the CDs.
They used to like drive with. They'd have CBs in their cars, and we like they. I was one of the CBers back in the day.
Oh, so I thought you said CD.
Oh no, CB like CB.
Yeah, I had a CB in my van. Came
So
with it.
it was. I even forget her. There was this cute little blonde, and I was talking to her at the time. She's like, "Oh, I'll teach you how to drive a stick." All right, cool. She's like, "Get in." Okay, so she was driving. She's like, "Just watch my feet." Okay, I'm like she had like nice legs and shit. I was like, "Damn," and I kind of learned off of a cute little blonde who had great looking legs. Those were the good old days back in the day.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, she's like, "Oh, just watch my feet." Like, okay, feet, legs, looking at her ass. I was like, "Yeah." But back then, people just chilled and everybody just hung out, and like you could say anything really to anybody. Nobody got upset or mad And now you got
Oh,
to watch.
CB was fun. I used to sit in my front yard, the van parked and everything, and I'd chill and hang out and talk to people on the CB and everything. It was fun.
It was when I wasn't out in my car. I had an old time radio, an old time Cobra. I only had like 23 channels. That was my dad's. But then I had like one in the car was like a 40 channel. And so if I wasn't out, I figured out how to. I had a converter box so I could like use my CB radio in the house off this converter, and I stuck the antenna, my car antenna, out the roof. I mean, out my window and to metal on my house, and I didn't have a far range, but I had enough to like hit the square, and that was fine. I'd sit there at night. I think we was on channel 10. It just sounds right, channel 10. So listen to everybody, and
Yeah, I think everybody did talk on 10 if I remember right.
and I hear, I'm like, hey, and like, hey, where are you? I said, oh, I'm home. Yeah, it was just a makeshift. I didn't have like a house antenna. I just had a little car antenna that I stuck out on the magnetic part of my house, and I had a converter to flip it so I could run it in the house. I got it from Radio Shack back in the day.
What I had like the handheld, like the wire and the handheld thing, and
Oh yeah, so did I.
Like I said, it came with the truck, so I used to just have fun with it. It's like, oh, does that work? Yeah, it works fine. And what I really wanted to do though, it had a plug for an external speaker, and I wanted to put like Blues Brothers time. I wanted to put that on top of the van so I could road rage at people like, hey you, yeah, you and the fucking Ford, fuck you. We're after midnight here, so we're getting close to midnight, so
11:30. But yeah, it was funny because I heard like those were like elite unless you had like.
Oh really?
Well, oh no, I'm sorry. I had a speaker behind I put it behind my grill, my front grill. I had a 79 Dodge Magnum. And they said at the time that was illegal to do, but I did it anyway because I thought it was pretty cool. So like I'd be able to flip the switch, dun, dun, like, hey, what's up? Or drive by, hey, what's up going on? And people look like, what the hell? But yeah, I also had at the time I didn't realize you weren't supposed to put like fog lights behind your grill. Don't know why again, but I did anyway because I thought it looked cool. And be driving around with the fog light, and I never got pulled up, but I'd hit the CB, the speaker part, and be like, hey, what you doing? Get out of there, and screw with people. It was fun back in the day. I miss that old Magnum. That was a good car.
I miss my Chevy van. It had a couch that folded out into a bed.
I remember your van vaguely, but I remember
that the party wagon, man. I mean, everybody wanted to be in on that van. There were nights I had like more than 10 passengers in there.
Then it was
like bar hopping.
Then there was a guy who came on. He had a CB. What he did with his van was cool at the time, and he had a trailer, and he had like an RC version of his van on the back of his van that he would tow. Oh, I wish I could remember who he was. But like his side door van doors were like almost like suicide doors, like somehow they folded down and shit. And he did it was it named? Let me see. Was his name Skylar? I want to say his handle was Skylar, but I could be wrong. But he had this van that he did himself, from what he was saying, and it just was like it was neat to look at it. He said then he built a radio control version of his van that he towed around on the back of his van.
So he had the Matryoshka doll van.
Basically.
You open up a van and there's a smaller van inside.
Well, no, this one, he probably could have put it on the inside. No, I mean, this guy but this guy could have probably done it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, mine was it was a black Celebrity coach. It was one of the high top vans. It had like the sunroof or the moon roof thingy, the fiberglass roof. I had 4 captain's chairs, a table in there. I had there was a Hendrix poster hanging in there. Like I said, couch that folded out to a bed. It was just the perfect, absolute perfect party wagon. And it was basically Frankenvan. I mean, it had like the whole underside was out of a Blazer. The transmission, it was originally a 6-cylinder with a manual transmission. Somebody replaced. They took the steering column out of a Jimmy, and it was an automatic on the column out of a Jimmy. The clutch was literally like laying on the floor dead. And they replaced the engine. The transmission was Buick. It was a Buick automatic transmission, and they replaced the engine from the whatever 6-cylinder of the day it was to a 350 bored up to a 400 with a Holley 4-barrel on top. I mean, that thing chewed through gas like you wouldn't believe.
Well, that's what my Camaro had. It was a 400 4-barrel Holley carb high-speed rear end, and that gas just went.
Well, I mean, an old man did that to it because he had a trailer he wanted to tow. Like I had like the whole trailer hitch hookup and everything. I never used it once, but that's why he put the extra engine in there the high bore engine and all that, so that he could haul around like a camper.
Which would make sense, but it's like now it's.
Put that in the hands of a 22-year-old. I had that van up on 2 wheels one time, like the 2 side wheels, like Dukes of Hazzard thing. Like I nearly rolled it.
It's like, oh shit!
It took a turn too fast coming down Snake Road and Laurel Run. And I literally had that thing up on 2 wheels, desperately trying to steer it back down. And that's another thing. By default and by there was no power steering box. That thing was manual steering.
So that was like driving a truck.
I had big arms. Well, yeah, let's put it this way. I had big arms back then. Just driving that thing. And that wheel was huge. Oh my God, there are so many stories about that van. Just nights in that van with different people and different, oh my God.
Damn, Pete. Yeah, even my you hit the gas and you just like literally watch your gauge going down sometimes.
I had a floating gas tank. I had a Buick Regal that it had a 350 with a Holley 2-barrel on it. And that's like that floating gas tank, man. When I hit the gas on that thing and hit it, like threw it up, like if you put it all the way down, it would automatically go into high gear. And because automatic.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it would go into its climbing gear. If you know what I mean by climbing gear. Like you hit the hill and it downshifts on its own, and it's in what they used to call the climbing gear. Okay, that Buick, if you floored it, it automatically went into that low gear, and it just propelled you forward like you wouldn't believe. It was basically the same thing. It was a '77 Regal, so that made it like basically the same thing as a Monte Carlo that same year.
Same body type, body style.
Yep, it was the same body actually.
Oh, okay. Just said
about the only thing different were like the bumpers and the rear windows.
And they made it like so it's not like a Monte Carlo, it's a Buick instead of
it was like the Regal back then was basically it was a more expensive version of a Monte Carlo.
It's basically like how you had the Mitsubishi 3000 GT, the Dodge Stealth, and the Chrysler Laser were basically the same car, only modified in certain ways to make it look like different.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of cars like the Tracker I used to own. I mean, that was all a Tracker ever was a Suzuki Samurai, and with a Chevy grill.
We'll just take the Suzuki off and put a Chevy grill on it. There you go. We got a tracker.
Well, I did the one time when somebody stole my tracker, and when I got it back, like I had they went off roading with it, so I had to pound some dents out of it. So I pulled the front quarter off the tracker, and started hammering out the dents, and underneath everything said Suzuki.
Well, it's like if you look at a like a Lexus. I mean, I'm not a Lexus fan, but if you look at a Lexus, all Lexus is an overpriced Toyota.
Yeah. Oh, and the four door tracker. Everybody made a big deal. You know, the tracker is now available in 4-door. The 4-door tracker was of its aura.
That's like when, if you guys out there remember, it was the. I'm trying to think of the car now.
What I'm saying is they were taking Japanese cars and putting Chevy parts on them and calling them Chevy.
Like I said, like the Plymouth, the Chrysler Laser, and the Dodge Daytona. Identical cars, same emblem. Just one said Chrysler, one said Dodge.
Well, Mopar did that for many years. My first car was Plymouth Volare, which was nothing but a lowball duster. It was the same body as a duster. It didn't have all the bells and whistles. It was basically a stripped down duster, if you could believe that there's a such thing. And all the duster was basically the Mopar version of the Chevy Nova.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of examples with Mopar. There's tons of examples of that. Like Plymouth was the lowball line, Dodge was the midline, and Chrysler was the top
line. Look like even in the commercial I was showing you, the Plymouth Voyager, aka Dodge Caravan.
Yeah.
But they sold. When that minivan came out, because it was it drove like a car. I remember my dad telling my mom that's where my dad made killing sales on those minivans, because people wanted a van but wanted to still have the driving a car. Boom, there you went. Now,
yeah, it's pretty much, it was in the era, it was pretty much like the version of that era's version of the station wagon.
Right, and then you saw the station wagon slowly fade away.
Yeah,
the minivan. But I will say, which I think was now. Oh, when when I took FP to the store, I'm walking in the grocery store, and I never seen one in up close. It was a Mustang Mach-E. That car should not be called a Mustang. That is not a Mustang. The Mustang Mach-E was a 4-door electric car.
Okay.
The Mustang Mach-E. And the sad part is, as we were walking in, what comes driving around the corner in the Garrity's parking lot? An older Mustang. I'm like, that's a Mustang, not that. But yeah.
The closest thing I ever owned to a sports car was I owned a Camaro, like an '86 Camaro, and it was a 6-cylinder. It was awful. It was one of the worst cars I ever owned. Basically, it was. I think it was a 5. I forget the exact displacement. I think it might have been a 5.3 liter, but it was notoriously Chevy's worst engine. And it always blew up on me.
I bought a 1982 Pontiac Trans Am. Had T-tops, which leaked like pissers. Had a 305 engine. That was the worst. I mean, I liked it because it was a Tramp, but man, that car. Sometimes I wish I never bought that car. the seat broke, so if you had to put something, if you sat down, you'd get poked in the ass with the spring, literally. And in the wintertime, it was a sled. It never moved because it was too, it was all rear wheel. Yeah, but I wanted to have a Trans Am.
I don't know. I just basically, I used to, the car I was driving at the time was going on me. I wanted a new vehicle. Ayers Towing up in Mountaintop. I used to pass. They had a Camaro for sale for $2,000. I had about 2,500 saved up for something new. Actually, I didn't have a car at the time. I didn't have a car that ran. That's right. And Flea and I worked in the same place, and he would just pick me up for work every day. So you probably remember Flea.
Oh yeah, I remember Flea.
Yeah, Flea and I worked together for a few years at AAP Industries, and he used to just give me a ride to work every day. He was nice enough to do that, and like I said, I mean, I needed a car of my own. The car I had wasn't running. That was actually the Bronco. It was sitting in my front of my house, just dead. And we'd pass by this car every day. It's like, man, I'm gonna save up enough. I'm gonna buy that car, and I did. And it was a piece of garbage.
Now, in the summertime, with the T-tops off, and when you had a good coat of wax on mine, it was like a light blue. Car looked fantastic, but it just, yeah.
Oh, this thing was a red Camaro. It looked amazing.
Pete's chiming in about the Mach-E. He's like, love the Mach-E. And now, I mean, if it wasn't called a Mustang, I wouldn't bitch about it. But it's like, that's not a Mustang. I'm sorry. Mustang is not four-wheel. That's or four-door. That's like what they did with the Porsche. They made a Porsche into a four-door. No. It's like, I remember seeing a Porsche Carrera four-door. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That was after my time, though. The Pinto. Oh my God, I remember hearing stories about the Pinto.
Yeah, that's the one that Ralph Nader said was unsafe at any speed.
Well, I remember hearing my dad tell me stories about the Ford Pinto, the way it was designed.
The gas tank, if you got hit in the rear, the gas tank would explode.
Yeah.
The hatchback, the window was so big that it was like, a major hazard. So yeah, couple that with an exploding gas tank. The Jimmys, a couple of years of GMC Jimmys had exactly the same problem. They had a gas tank that was way too low to the ground and way too far out, and if you got rear-ended, good chance the thing would blow up. Well, yeah, Ralph Nader, he used to be a consumer advocate before he was a political guy. Ralph Nader, used to write things for Consumer Reports and all that.
He was like a review guy.
What's that?
Review things.
Yeah, but more or less for Consumer Reports, and he in his review of the Pinto, he said that that's how he titled the review, the unsafe at any speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, that's where he got his start. He was a huge consumer advocate guy.
Well, Mike, it's almost midnight.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling it.
But it was again a good night, like always. Pete,
absolutely.
Everybody else hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for hanging with us. Oh, the Corvair, yeah, that was
another disaster.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one next week. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. Mike, as always.
Hey, man. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you till next